Welcome into the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Great show today, folks. We're going to dive into dumb crime, stupid criminals in just a bit with Jessica Freeberg. But first, I want to talk to you about a very interesting topic that came across my desk. One that's really fascinating. We're going to get into forensic art today, along with a former FBI forensic artist, one who is incredibly skilled at what she does. I'll tell you this much. The book that I got the chance to read this past weekend enthralled me to the point where I learned a disturbing fact, folks. And I'm going to talk to with Lisa Bailey here in just a second. I'll tell you, little things stick out when you read a book, right? And there was one thing that stuck out when I read Lisa's book here. I'll tell you a little bit about Lisa Bailey. We'll bring her in, and then I'm going to tell you about this one fact that stuck out about the book that she's going to say, okay, of all the things you learned about me, why that, Tim? Okay, so here we go. Lisa Bailey is a retired FBI forensic artist, adjunct faculty member of the FBI Academy, and instructor of the FBI Forensic Facial Imaging class. She's been featured prominently in major news outlets such as The Washington Post, NPR, America's Most Wanted, Dateline, NBC, and A&E Real Crime. Lisa and her forensic art also appear in Mental Floss Medium, the Smithsonian, and the National Museum of Health and Medicine. We've got a link to her website as well. You can go check it out at lisabaileyauthor.com. Let's welcome in for the first time to True Crime Tuesday with an exciting book, Clay and Bones, My Life as an FBI Forensic Artist, Lisa Bailey. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Great. Okay, so before we launch into your life as an FBI forensic artist, the ups and downs and whatnot, the one thing I pull from your book, and you're going to think this is extremely weird, but I have this morbid fascination with what happens to us as we leave this mortal plane and our remains lie in eternal soup, is this. And I got to think this has hit you as a forensic artist as you're reconstructing some of these skulls. You put in the book something that's going to sit in my little brain, maybe till the end of all time, till I become bone soup, so to speak. The first thing that rodents and little creatures go for is what?
Oh, God, what? Eyeballs? What?
The nasal cavity?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. They go for the face is the first thing because that's, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, that's moisture and all the goody bits in your eyes. So.
And you stated because it's easily breakable.
Yeah, that's their little tiny bones. They're not going to gnaw through your femur if they can get to your nasal bones first.
Really? Okay, I'm not a squeamish guy because I have what's called Charcot foot. You may or may not know what that means. That means that my leg bone drove through my ankle, almost went through my foot. It didn't. I stopped it before it went. I stopped it short. So I have a full foot. Everything's fine. Okay. It's just I have a bowl instead of an arch. Mm-hmm. So and I'm able to walk. But
wow.
So I put up with some tough stuff. I'm a tough kid, but to hear that rodents go for the nose because it's easily breakable made me go, because I have this. Okay, I don't.
I shouldn't laugh.
No. You can laugh. Go ahead and laugh. I meant for that to be funny. But it's because I have this. You know how people have irrational fears? I think in a past life I was buried. Sure. I was buried alive, and they didn't give me the bell to let them know that I was down.
Yeah, that's right. That's a big one.
Yeah. So I think I have that irrational fear. So to think that someone's going for the nose, I can't.
Yeah. What's really funny is I am an incredibly squeamish person, and I am the absolutely last person that anybody would ever expect would be walking around decomposing bodies and handling skulls. Like the last person.
Really?
Oh my God. Like if I see spit on a sidewalk, I get grossed out. But I can be around dead bodies and skulls because it's fascinating and it's my job.
Because there's a
and I've been a vegetarian for almost my entire life. I've been a vegetarian since I was 15.
Now, I don't blame you for that because being around dead bodies, I think I would go vegetarian very quickly.
Yeah.
But there's a chapter in the book where you're around someone who's burned. And
Yes.
how do you keep your stomach during that?
You know, it didn't help that one of the morgue techs kept saying, this was them, not me. Oh yeah, when she came in, smelled just like barbecued ribs. And I'm like, are you serious? Because it's burned flesh. I mean, I've heard that before. I knew that everybody was looking at me. And I was amazed myself. All I could think at the moment was my dad would be so proud of me right now, because I was inches away from a burned corpse, and like I had to squeeze in between the morgue, I can't think of it, the stretcher, and because I was trying to squeeze into this little tiny room for the CT scanner, and I'm shocked and amazed myself. And I still have, like seeing the photos, I was like right up there taking pictures of her face, because it was a crazy, unique opportunity. Because most of when we get remains, they're skulls. Like 99%, it's very rare that a medical examiner is going to take a decomposition and cut off the head and clean it. Like they're not going to do that. So having an unidentified body where there's still flesh on the face, where you can still see some hair, you can still see some hairline, a bit of the nose. That was able to get a CT scan, so we'd actually be able to get a print of the skull, was just an incredible opportunity. So my fascination overrode any potential gross out.
Wow.
But yeah, it's my husband is like, oh my God, I see a bug, I'm out the door, I'm out the window. Things like gross things, but I was able to do it. Nobody more surprised than me. Because
like I said, with the Charcot foot, I've got a pretty strong constitution. I've watched many times a doctor fillet away at my foot and just, with a scalpel, just, had to clear out, debride a wound out of my foot. And I've sat there and talked to him while he's done it. I've taken the skull and bones challenge, where you have to, with a real skeleton, had to have your face essentially, just inches away from a real skeleton's face, a real skull's face. So I've been able to do that.
I've done that.
and hold it there for I don't remember how long it is, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is.
Did that bother you?
No, I could do it.
Okay.
You just tell yourself, the thing's not going to jump up and, French kiss you or anything. It's it's gone. It's dead. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
It's just the uncomfortableness of keep in mind, I'm also claustrophobic. So I have to tell myself no one's going to throw me in a coffin with it and close the lid.
Right.
That's the only thing. It's a trust thing. So you have to trust.
I got you there.
Yeah. You have to trust no one's going to put you in with it.
I don't like the idea of being buried or embalmed or anything like that. So I told I said, throw me in the ocean, take me to a body farm. I don't care. Like, I'll be fish food.
I do have to ask you this before we get into all this stuff.
Okay.
Having seen the processes and been there, does the process of death bother you?
The thought of not being here anymore, like, freaks me out. Like, being older, it's like, I think, okay, maybe I have 20 good years left. Do you know what I mean? Like, and think it freaks me out in that, like, I'll just be gone. Like, my brain, like, I won't, like, what's everybody doing today? And it's like, well, you don't know, you're dead. That's what freaks me out, is how's it going to happen? Like, there's certain ways that nobody wants to die, like drowning or fire or anything like that. My main thing, I just really hope I don't die in an incredibly stupid way, like not looking when one of the trolleys comes by, or tripping over something and just dying in a really stupid, avoidable way. That's like, I don't want that. That would be
right.
Yeah, it's hard to be embarrassed when you're dead, but I told my friend this. I said, I basically being at this age, I need to walk around like I'm in a crime scene, like to look before I step, because like, God help me, when I was in training, I once backed up and stepped on a bullet casing, and it was like, shit, because you can't do that at a real crime scene. So it's like, be aware of your surroundings, like always being aware without being paranoid. That's the trick.
Well, I suppose now you've been in the Navy and now you've been in the FBI, so you have a little bit more awareness than most of us here out in the street. When you're out in everyday public and you're in a certain neighborhood, is your radar up 24/7?
I hate to say it, but as a woman, I mean, most women, not during the day and out shopping and stuff like that, but sure, going into coming home and the lights are out, like the power's out and the house is dark. It's like, I'm not going in. I called my husband. This happened one time. I called him from inside the garage and said, I'm waiting until you get home because I'm not going in there. And he's like, he didn't understand at the time. We were married like maybe a year. And I was like, no, sweetie, like, you don't know. This is how all the true crime things start and end. True. I'm not doing it. I've been to crime scenes where that happened. A woman entered the house and there was somebody waiting for her.
Yeah.
So yeah. I actually live in Portugal now, which is lovely, and I feel very safe here. Of course, everybody has crime, but it's just, I'm not looking over my shoulder or anything. It's just a very quiet, there's no guns. That's nice.
Yeah.
So, I don't feel on guard. When I go back to the States, like to visit family, then, I kind of, my head's kind of swiveling around, I'll admit.
I don't blame you.
Which is terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible, but
you have to. I think you have to.
It's just, you have to. Yeah.
You have to.
It's just the way it is.
You have to.
Unfortunately.
One more here, and then I think we'll start to transition towards the material in the book, and that's this. There's an interesting article that came out this last week that science says officially now you're old when you hit the age of 69, and getting into clay and bones, my life as an FBI forensic, right? That's what I said, right? Because I'm 55.
Me too. Oh no, 60. Oh shit. I'm sorry. I'm 65.
No, you can say, go ahead. You can say swears. I don't care. Go ahead.
I keep forgetting how old I am.
That's okay. So in the book, Clay and Bones, My Life as an FBI Forensic Artist, you talk quite a bit about how the body ages, which is wonderful,
yes.
And you talk about our body underneath and how the bones keep growing and things keep growing. And you talk about the death process and how if you're found in one environment, things kind of slough off on the outside, right? So you really give us a good idea of what happens in the death process, even with our bones and our skin and our hair and everything. And you talk about as you're recreating someone and how you're trying to get a good idea of what somebody looks like. You talk about even the fat pads on the cheeks and whatnot.
Yeah.
I want, in your opinion, they say we're officially old at 69 years old, but as a forensic artist, how old do you think old really is, having seen someone from the inside?
To me, that's a question I have never gotten. Well, I would like to think old is, I don't know, it's trite, only as old as you feel, but that's a tough one. You know what? I'm gonna say maybe 90. I don't know. It's like I can say this, most of the skulls that we got, because the anthropologist gives us a range, most of the people that die in these unfortunate circumstances are on the younger realm. They're usually under 60. I've had a couple that were thought to be maybe 80. You could tell usually the sutures fuse, and then, the dentures and things like that gave clues. But I'm not sure I know how to answer that, what is old. I like to think it's a couple of years after I kick the bucket that it's, I don't know. Do injuries and things like that affect the age of a person? Like, I'll give you a great example. Okay.
Because I'll give you a great example. I have a broken neck and back on top of the fact that I have Charcot foot. So like when I was 20 years old, I had a very good physical therapist who told me your skeleton, your back, your spine right now is the equivalent of a 100-year-old man, but you're only in your 20s because of how bad it's degraded. So does the wear and tear on a person's body actually age it?
I guess, well, forensically, if a body like that, the anthropologist would be able to tell the difference that, oh my God, this man had an injury. Like, it depends on how much of the remains are found. Sometimes we just get a skull. Rarely is it the entire body, but usually there's enough of it to, no pun intended, but like to piece together, the age of the person. So, yes, the anthropologist would be able to tell this man had injuries. He had a horrible back, painful, whatever, but the rest of the body suggests, under 30, under 40.
Okay.
So when it's always a question, what age and like what weight to make the person. And we always, as far as weight, we just really have to go with average, because unless it's a decomposition where there is a lot of fat tissue left, we don't know weight.
Okay.
More than 90% of the ones I got were entirely skeletal. Maybe some bits of flesh, but really like skeletal. And so we have no clue. And you can't go by clothing, because just because somebody's wearing like an extra, extra large shirt doesn't, you see people wearing baggy clothes, doesn't mean they were that size. They could have that was their fashion.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a number of the people that I've worked on were homeless. Like there's one woman found in a brick kiln, and when she was identified, I remember her clothing being larger than what she looked like in life. So in that situation, you don't get your choice of clothing. You're wearing what you can find. So you can't go by clothing sizes and things like that for unidentifieds. And for aging the face, again, depending on the number of bones that are found, if it's just the skull, like again, I'm not an anthropologist, so this is their realm. There's the percentage of how narrow they can make their estimations is much. It's wider if they only get the skull. Because I've seen 90-year-old skulls, like when I was at the Smithsonian, and all their sutures were still open, which is not supposed to happen. They're supposed to be all closed by then.
Yeah.
But it was a 90-year-old skull with perfectly open sutures. So, so aging is always tough. And I'll be honest, like I'd sit there if the anthropologist said, okay, well, we think this woman is in her 50s to 60s. I'd pull up a mirror and go, okay, like, do I do wrinkles? There's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing.
Right.
Mostly it's the sad drooping that happens, that everything just falls down. You usually don't get all the deep wrinkles unless, a lot of sun damage or something.
Right.
So yeah, those are, and for and maybe if we getting into this more as far as how the facial approximations work and what they're meant for, is we know we're never going to be able to get a portrait. We've got some that are scary close, like where the anthropologist I would go like that was like close, but we can't get a portrait. Luckily, it's not needed. It's basically pretty much the last ditch effort to get a person identified when all other means have come up empty. So
I think I know the percentage here, but you tell me from having read the book, but how much is exact science following facial lines recreation and how much is intuition to get a portrait of someone who's deceased with recreation?
See, I don't like to give a percentage because it's really impossible. So this got stated years ago, forensic art or facial approximation is a blend of art and science. And that sounds really great. It's not 50-50. It's not even 90-10 because anthropology itself is not a hard science.
Okay.
They can't say this person was 65 and a half years old. And, it's, I think they call it like, I don't want to say anything wrong, like a soft science or whatever, but physical anthropology, that's not 100%. When I get a lab report for an unidentified victim, the anthropologist has estimated age, and it's usually a range, 40 to 60, depending on the number of bones found. So it's really kind of a sliding scale. Okay. So now I actually got a question on my Instagram that kind of goes into this, that somebody asked, have I ever tested myself with a known skull to see how close I could get? And we actually did that at the FBI. My coworker, another forensic artist, we had two anthropologists. So they gave us a skull and we each reconstructed it. And, the one anthropologist did talk to the other, and they both came out looking remarkably like the man. It was an older gentleman, I think in his 60s. And our sculptures looked very much alike. It was our sculpting style that was different. So I have more of I'm OCD, I'll say it. So I fine tune and I like to clean things up. And, so I think my sculptures are a little bit more, I don't want to say delicate, but and I'll say his name, Wes. He's hey, Wes, fabulous artist. His are more, they're looser and, a little bit more rugged looking, but they looked, you would go, that's the same guy.
Really?
So, yeah, because these should always be done with an anthropologist if I have to get on my soapbox. No artist should be doing these alone. Sure. Working with an anthropologist and having a good estimation of the age, sex, ancestry, all of that, using the most current guidelines. Unfortunately, I won't go into this because I'll really get on a soapbox. Okay. But there's some very old guidelines that have been somehow accepted as gospel that many artists are still using. And some of those guidelines go back like to literally 1940, based on a book that was written. So now with, CT scans and, oh my God, autopsies and all that, we have a lot more information about tissue depth. And, there have been research projects on how you can estimate the shape of the nose and so many things like that. And I'll give a plug to my body farm project. I learned a lot with that by collecting known skulls and then looking at their skull and looking at their life photos and going, when this happens on a skull, it looks like this happens in life. Like, whenever I see somebody with a crooked feature, it starts with their skull.
Really?
I'll say this. I've worked on skull where the eye orbits they're crooked. You've seen people if you were to stare at somebody straight on and really study them and put a line there, not everybody, but you could go, yeah, their eyes are crooked. And when I was trying to align one skull for photography, this was at the body farm. And I didn't want to like jinx anything and look at live photos first. I was, trying. So there's something called the Frankfurt horizontal plane, and it's the anthropological standard where you align the skull. So it's the bottom of the eye orbit to the upper part of the external auditory meatus. I'll never forget that. The bony ear opening. So when you get that level, that's how you align the skull. And this one guy, I could not get aligned for the life of me. And I couldn't get everything to line up, and I'm spinning it. And when I looked at his life photo, he had a crooked smile and his eyes were crooked. And I was like, I knew it, because some of the guidelines, especially 2D guidelines, they kind of push you into making everything symmetrical. And our faces are not symmetrical. Yeah. I mean, everybody, I think if you've seen, especially if you got Photoshop, flip your face and, you can look, take your left side and, flip it and your right side. It's interesting that a lot of very good looking celebrities look almost identical left and right, because symmetry is associated with beauty and, the old standards like that.
I do that with my iPhone. I flip photos and I go, oh, I definitely have a side.
Yeah. It's like, Garbo, like, do me from my good side. All that. And it's, it's real. It is real. It's definitely real. So that was, see, got me all excited talking about skulls again.
Yeah, it's all right.
I love it. I love skulls. I love it.
I'm fascinated by it. I'm definitely fascinated by it. Tell you what, we'll take a break here, Lisa. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit of the book, a little bit of the history of you as a forensic artist, and we'll talk a little bit about your journey in the FBI and a little bit about your journey in life here. But yeah, the stuff about the skulls is interesting, and just about your work in general is very interesting. It's fascinating stuff, I tell you.
Yes.
And I encourage people to pick up the book to learn more. Clay and Bones: My Life as an FBI Forensic Artist. Folks, you got to get this book. We have a link in the description of this program. We also have a link to Lisa's website as well, so you can learn more about her. And again, I encourage you to check out both. Folks, before we head to break, let me tell you about our sponsor today, Jelly Bean and Julia's. You can check them out at jellybeanandjulias.com. We have a link to them as well. Their specials all week long. Happy hour, $3 off of tacos, nachos, quesadillas, boneless wings. The basket is half off. They also have domestic taps and bottles, single pour well drinks as well, or half off of these domestic taps, bottles, single pour well drinks as well. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. Friday, of course, the smoked prime rib dinner. I keep going on and on about this. I know you guys have heard about it. The walk-in smoker there, the smoked prime rib is smoked all day long beforehand, and then of course you get it right on your plate. 14 and 16 ounce dinner. It is so wonderful. It's one of the top 5 dinners I think you'll ever have in your life. They serve it with the tequila berry salad, that sweet and tangy dressing, along with the croutons and the bacon in it. You've got the Boston baked potato that comes with it. You've got the Texas toast with it as well. It's a wonderful dinner. You get it all together. That smoked prime rib dinner is being served from 4:30 to close. Actually, it's until it's gone on Friday. And then, of course, on Sunday, you've got breakfast on Sundays only. Jellybeanandjulias.com. Go check them out. And I guarantee you, it's going to be your regular place as Corey and Coley treat you like family over there at Jelly Bean and Julia's. All right, when we come back, more with Lisa Bailey. Clay and Bones: My Life as a FBI Forensic Artist. We'll talk more about Lisa's life in the FBI right after this on the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcasting. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. My guest is Lisa Bailey. The name of the book, Clay and Bones: My Life as an FBI Forensic Artist. And it is a good one, folks. It'll keep you intrigued. I'll tell you this much. There are little bits in this book that Lisa throws in there. There's not only her life as a forensic artist, she talks about her struggles in the FBI, not just her life in the FBI and her enjoyment of her work, because she enjoys her work quite a bit in the reconstruction of the human body and her adventures in the FBI. She had some enormously fascinating adventures in the FBI, just different things that she did in the FBI that you just, you lock in and you're like, I can't believe she had these experiences. But then there's the experiences she had with her bosses that you're like, I can't believe she had these experiences, that you almost get a little bit of rage about. And you almost kind of want to jump into the book and protect her. We'll talk about these in the second half of the program here. Let me bring Lisa back in here. And I say this, Lisa, with the utmost, I guess, respect and anger at the same time. And I don't mean it condescendingly. There were really times in this book where I wanted to jump in this book and punch out your bosses.
Me included.
Because, you know, we do run into in society still to this day, and keep in mind these experiences happened around what year to what year? Would you say it was 2000?
2009 is when there was a reorganization. I got the new supervisors.
Mm-hmm.
So 2009 to 2015 was the main horror, but then the repercussions from basically 2015 till I retired in 2019. The harassment never ended. It just never ended.
So this isn't like 25 years ago. We're talking pretty recent history.
Mm-hmm.
To think that it went on in those years is astounding, because it's classic misogyny. There's no other way to put it. The stuff that was being done to you wasn't being done to any other male colleague in your department.
Nope, just me.
And it started with the classic stuff. We'll start to take away the basic tools of your department. Let's start off at the beginning. I know I'm kind of jumping into the meat of things, but again, I start to read the book and the rage starts to build up on your behalf, I think. Tell me a little bit about how your beginnings and how you get interested in art in the first place.
Oh, gosh. Most kids always drawing, but I loved art, favorite subject. My mom was an artist. She was actually a really awesome cartoonist. So art was my favorite subject in school, but I never thought I could make a career out of it. So couldn't afford college, joined the Navy, Russian linguist, like just end of the Cold War. What did I know? I was 19. So and then when I get out of the Navy, it turns out that having a very high top secret clearance gets you jobs really fast in the DC area. So I got a job right away at Johns Hopkins. And from there, I was doing data processing, which, I hated. But with a name like Johns Hopkins, they support education. So I was able to, I went to college at night while I, worked full time, took classes at night, got my art degree, and then got promoted to an artist at Hopkins. Oh. And that was probably the absolute best. There's no probably. That was the absolute best working experience in my entire life. People should be so lucky as to have that work life, because I worked with a great team of people, an amazing boss. She was a mama bear tiger, fought for her artists. And we were really like a family. I mean, it's corny, but we were. I still keep in contact with three of the artists that I work with. It's been 30 years, and wonderful people. Yeah. So that was the best experience of my life, and I never wanted to leave. But then one fateful day, I see an ad in the Washington Post for an FBI illustrator. I see the great big FBI seal, and I'm intrigued. And I wasn't looking to leave, but I was reading, go to crime scenes, do composite sketches, and I'm reading all this incredibly cool stuff and going, well, it's probably not a real job, because they say those. But when I looked at the requirements, it was really like they were reading from my resume, because working at Hopkins doing the graphics I was doing then, I was, I had all the software of the day. Back then it was freehand, Photoshop, and all the 3D programs. So I was essentially I was using all those tools. I was doing all those presentations, things that adapted right into forensic art, into, altering photographs and building crime scenes and presenting factual information. So I got the job. I didn't think it was a real job, but I got it. And I had to go through a 3-year waiting period because of a government hiring freeze. So, I don't give up easy. So it was like, I will wait this out. I will wait out a 3-year hiring freeze. So the day I walked in the door, well, actually, I'll back up a tiny bit. It was Friday, September 7th, when an FBI agent came to my office, and he shook my hand and he said, "The freeze is lifted. Welcome to the FBI." That was September 7th, 2001. Ooh, and then, of course, Tuesday happened, 9/11.
Jeez.
And I thought, oh my God, like they've got, they're not going to push to get me in now because they're quite busy. And it was actually the opposite. I was in 2 months later. So the first case I worked on was 9/11.
Wow.
Yeah. So talk about being thrown in.
Yeah.
But the artists there, they were, of course, amazing artists. So they had been working 24-hour shifts, and they had just stopped that probably a couple, I don't know how long before I actually started, but it was continual work for years. There were, several key artists, lead artists, but working on the Zacharias Moussaoui prosecution, just incredible amounts of demonstrative evidence to put together, just an incredible amount. So, that was the first thing I worked on.
Wow.
Yeah. And, not a first responder. I wasn't, I didn't go to the scene or anything. That was not my job. And I was, brand new, still under probation, like that. But, one of the first things was scanning. Even though this is 2001, we had horrible family photos to work from. We had paper copies, and, we were scanning all the photos and trying to, make the presentations of all the victims. And, you'd see a family photo and it's all the happy moments of somebody's life and graduations and birthday parties. And then there'd be like a red circle around somebody. And it's like, okay, that's the victim. And it was just, of course, anybody who didn't work on 9/11 was just devastated during that time. So that was hard. But I guess the one thing you can say is, at least for me, it was like, well, at least I felt like I was doing something, like it's hard to think that it was it was 25 years ago.
Does it feel that long, or does it feel fresh to you still?
It's both. It's like whenever I see the towers, it's like a punch in the gut or a stab in the heart when, you're watching TV and you see the towers on TV. But then to think, oh my God, it was so 25 years ago.
When you see on television,
I never forget it.
I hate to veer from this, but I need to know this from someone who worked so closely with all of this. When you hear this line on television, is this a punch in the gut? When they say there's a whole generation now that never knew when they look at that, it's archive footage to them that they never lived through 9/11. They never knew. They've lived a whole generation. There's a whole generation out there that's never known sovereign soil, that's never known the U.S. to have not been attacked on their own soil. Does that punch you in the gut?
Oh yeah. The fact that it's like, what do you like? I guess they have nothing to relate it to, but the feeling that day for anybody that was an adult when that happened. I mean, I was at Hopkins when that happened, and I don't know. It's like, I don't want to wish that on somebody, that they have that feeling, to take some, 19-year-old kid that it's just images on, it's a picture in a book to them. But yeah, I don't know what you could compare it to. I mean, maybe Pearl Harbor, but then I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what would be an equivalent, but yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
I think that was our Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy. Yeah.
I will never forget. Yeah.
Yeah. And to think that there is a whole generation that can't relate because they see the archive footage, and to them, it's just that, it's archive footage.
It doesn't, think that over 3,000 people, like, they can't relate. And, I don't want to get into anything that's going on with the news today, but, people forgetting their history, come on.
Yeah.
Like horrible things have happened in history, and, you kind of need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's odd if when I talk to some, like one of my girlfriends is, like 30, and it's like, oh God, yeah, you were a kid.
You're little, you can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Yep.
it doesn't translate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't. I remember where I was when Nixon resigned. I mean, come on. It goes to show my age.
Yeah. So you managed to, and it's hard to say you managed to get through 9/11, but eventually that workload has to slow. When does that workload slow for you?
For some of the artists, it never really did. Like how that was such a huge case that there were lead artists that were responsible for doing, 3D diagrams of the Pentagon and physical models. So a couple of the artists were the primary members, and I know at some point it tapered off. Like at first it would be 100% of their duties, and then it might go to 90% because they got another assignment. And, for me, it was my first several weeks mostly working on, scanning photographs. And I had another, I think when I mentioned in the book, it was another small plane crash, working on that. So other things you work in. And later in my career, and I would be working on demonstrative evidence or an age progression and then a skull. And then you get word from the prosecutor that, oh, the trial's been switched. They're moving it up. And then you go, oh my God, and you got to juggle things. So things like that happen where you think you've got your workload like squared away, and then you get a phone call and you have to get on a plane and do a composite drawing. So that was just how that worked. It's actually, it's kind of a lot of it I sort of forgot in a way. Maybe that's, how bad events you kind of block out. I mean, I remember one night just coming home and just standing in my kitchen and just like staring off into space because just all the photographs, it was just so sad. It was just, and like one of my, a colleague from Hopkins had been killed.
Oh, no.
And so when I saw his, I had to scan his photograph and I was like, oh, I knew him. Like somebody that I knew was at the Pentagon. He was a great guy. He was a hoot. He was on his 2-week Naval Reserve duty.
Really?
At the Pentagon when it hit. And it was Tuesday, so that was the second day of his 2-week Navy Reserve rotation.
Jeez.
So it makes it very real. Makes it super real. But I actually don't remember how long. It's at some point, even a couple of years later, there would be something that would come up that, okay, we need to rework this, or the prosecutor wants something else. And then, okay, Lisa, can you do this? But I was never lead on it. There was one artist who was like an engineer, the people that had been there for like 10 years that were lead artists on that.
I hate to go back to this. I don't want to belabor the point. The friend of the photo that you were scanning, was he one of the ones that was unidentified, and all of a sudden you knew who this was, and you had
no, because let me try to think. He was. I remember when we were at Hopkins, and like the next day, the Hopkins director said, I don't want to say his name.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to.
They said, "Oh, we haven't heard what happened." I'll just say John, like a John Doe.
Sure.
We haven't heard what happened to John. We haven't heard from him. And then everybody's like, "Oh my God," And then the third day and the fourth day, and then you get the sinking feeling like, he's gone. So I don't know. I know that where he was at was in the direct. Right in the path of the plane that went through the Pentagon.
Oh,
so it was instantaneous. He was in that direct line.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So that much I know.
Yikes.
Yeah. You find out some things, you find out some things that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just.
It was instantaneous for him.
And one of those I know we talked about it in the first segment. One of those deaths you would wish you would never have or come across, but because it's one of those deaths that you say, well, in the end, does it do anything for humanity, right? I mean,
Right.
You don't want him to be forgotten.
No. He was a hoot. He was one of. I literally worked with rocket scientists at Johns Hopkins. So I and the other artists, we would work on presentations for the military, like we're designing this new weapon system, or we're designing this new aircraft or something. So he was truly like one of the rocket scientists there in our department, and he would have fun, unique ideas of ways to present his information. Can I tell you one? Because it was just so unusual. This was this guy. He wanted me to do a fight poster because it was something about this technology versus another technology. And he wanted like one of those 1950s styles, ding, ding, ding. It's, Rockin' Joe after this guy. And it was like, you're crazy, but I loved it because most of the scientists there were pretty dry. Yeah. So that was hysterical to me. And I was like, sure, I'll do that. That was a hoot. So he was that type of guy.
So you did the poster. Did you give it to him, or where did it end up?
You know what? I actually, horrible to say. I think it happened shortly after.
Oh, no.
That 9/11, wait, no, I don't remember actually doing the poster.
Oh.
So I'd have to think about that.
Okay.
Maybe his boss said, you know what, because this was to be presented to literally, generals and mucky mucks at the Pentagon. So his supervisor might have put the kibosh on it, that it might have been too out there. I don't know. I don't remember why. I do remember I got to do some fun things at Hopkins, like little cartoons of, guys shooting cannons over a castle and things like that. But yeah.
Oh, it sounds like it would have been fun.
Pretty rare. Yeah, it was a great job.
Yeah, great job. That's for sure. Let's steer it back towards the FBI. Then you get into the FBI, and you start out. You're starting out, and you're of course you're doing stuff after 9/11, and you're, as you stated, it starts pivoting. You're doing one thing, then another, and you've got two main bosses, Harry and Frank, and there's friction that's starting to happen here, and it starts with you start to get basic things taken away from you. Now, we should state that as it is, your tools are limited. It's like you're having to share tools with different colleagues. You've whether it be a scanner or whether it be a laptop or whatever it is, you're already having to share stuff, or a dongle.
Yes.
A dongle is a big thing
yes.
in this book. Evidently, if you have a dongle, you're somebody.
Yeah.
And you can read the book to figure out what the joke is there, folks. But a BlackBerry is essential.
Yes.
And explain to our listeners and viewers why a BlackBerry is essential in your job.
Well, because we travel to crime scenes, and you need to be able to, we weren't on call, but when your boss needs you, when there's something going on, you need to be contacted. And it's not a secure line, but it's, more secure than an iPhone. So this was actually these Harry and Frank pseudonyms, everybody knows, not their real names. And maybe later I can tell you the fun I had with naming people, because they're named that way for a reason. So it was 8 years after there was a reorg, and I got Harry and Frank as bosses. And Harry had been a coworker. So when he turned into a lunatic, that was just, he must have had some pent up rage, because he turned into a crazy man. And Frank, he was the unit chief. So Harry's my first line supervisor. Frank is the unit chief over like 30 people. Okay. So I get transferred with a few other artists into this new unit, and it was within a couple of weeks. It was, okay, Lisa, like, I need your BlackBerry. Why? Well, I'm just taking it. You don't need it. It's like, you're taking my BlackBerry. That's like a lifeline. Like, I had to use the men got to keep their Blackberries. It's like, oh, they took my laptop and gave it to a guy. I mean, stuff that sounds absolutely like if you tried to write a script, people go, no, that couldn't happen. Yeah. But it did. It was like, let's, like the joke, barefoot and pregnant, it's like they took away they wouldn't give me soft. So they took my Blackberry, my laptop. When I went on trout, like I would get called out and I'd have to like run around trying to find a laptop to borrow, literally. Men didn't, but I did. And they were doing everything in their power to, they were trying to thwart any, God help it if Lisa did anything good. It was so blatant. It was crazy. You try to explain it to people. It was so incredibly blatant. It was like it goes into the unbelievable, but it's not. It happened. I mean, God knows I've got, it's crazy. It's crazy.
They were doing
and then the insults and the yelling. Oh my God.
It felt like, and I don't mean to interrupt, Lisa, but at least with the taking away the tools, it felt like they were doing everything they could to make your job almost impossible, to actually do your physical job. So
exactly.
That way they could mark you down when it came review time.
They would try doing that. I mean, when I came into that unit, all my prior evaluations had been outstanding. Like that's the highest mark you could get, outstanding. Mm-hmm. And they would, so then I dropped down to excellent, which, still not bad, but they were made up reasons. And trying to explain to somebody the absurdity of the reason why this happened was because you took away my software. Like I couldn't process my own skull data. I had to have my coworker do it. So I had to rely on his schedule. So they would ding me for not processing data, but they wouldn't give me the tools for it.
Right.
And like you try to explain that absurdity to someone and they look at you like you're crazy. It's like, it happened.
Yeah.
It happened and they got away with it.
Yeah.
And, I would go into upper management and, with black and white, like here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. The joke in the unit was, if Frank and Harry are yelling, Lisa must be in their office. They just took this joy in raging against me and yelling at me and insulting me, and I put up with it for 2 years. I mean, like my nails clawing into my desk sometimes, because there were rumors that the reorganization would be reversed. So I was like, maybe they'll go away. Maybe they'll go away. And my last straw was when they purposely sabotaged a case with an unidentified victim. It's, it's in the book. Yep. Better to explain it in there.
Yep.
But they purposely sabotaged the chances of this young man being identified. And I drove home and I was like, oh my God, that was the last straw. I was enraged. I was enraged. And that's when I started the EEO process. And first I went up the chain, like, they're doing this. They're messing with my work. Like, I had an agent call me and go, what is going on with your supervisor? And I'm like, oh, I can't, I can't say. But they knew that, the agents I was working for knew what was going on. But, they know the deal too. You can't say anything bad about another FBI employee. Like, do you remember the name Robert Hansen?
Yeah.
The FBI spy.
Right.
Do you know that he was reported? His brother-in-law was an FBI agent. His brother-in-law raised the alarm on him, but he was junior to Robert Hansen. You cannot go against the stream in the Bureau. I believe it was one of the secretaries even reported, said, there's something fishy going on with this, Robert guy. Yeah. But no, he was their star agent. So it what only rolls downhill.
Right. Yeah. You can say it. Go ahead. You can say it.
Yeah.
Shit rolls downhill, right?
Shit only rolls downhill. And that's why Robert Hansen got away with what he got away with for so long, because management was not willing to go against one of their own. That is the reason. And they try, but it's right there. It's right there. If you look in the history, I read a book on it even, like that's the reason.
And
which is
you put up an interesting point at the end of the book, which again, I'm not spoiling anything by saying this, and that's this, Lisa, that the FBI has a spotless EEO is it EEO compliance record? Is that what it is?
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah. And
it's perfect.
How do you maintain that?
The reason it's perfect is because they get rid of everybody. Usually what happens in these cases is the employee they'll get drummed out. I went over several of the ways in the book, and I should actually write another book just for federal employees about how to protect themselves. But they have different methods, like they could never put me on a performance improvement plan because I kept getting, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I was good at my job, which is what you want. Mm-hmm. For somebody at the FBI. Right. So they couldn't get me there. So one of the ways they get rid of it was they make your life so difficult you quit, which I refused to do. Mm-hmm. So that's when they really stepped up all the abuse. And another way is they make up violations. They get together and lie, mm-hmm. and then they charge you with something that you didn't do, which starts like a year-long investigation. Mm-hmm. And they hope that you'll leave. And I refused to leave because I knew it was all lies. And in the end, the investigation showed that I had not done what they accused me of. Gee, I hadn't done it, but they were hoping to drive me out. So the reason they have that spotless record is because they, one way or the other, the people are gotten rid of. They're gotten rid of. And my win actually went, it was kind of hidden in the numbers. It's too long to explain. Sure. But I have by God got that paper. I should have it framed. I've got the judgment from the Department of Justice, and that I proved it. And people, it was funny, people in the laboratory knew because they had to put up the notice in all the break rooms. Mm-hmm. So that was some sweet, that was pretty, I was trying to keep my head down. By that time, they had put me into the science unit. And so people were wondering, why is there an artist in our unit? And then they see this notice come up about discrimination in the photo unit. And, they're not dumb. They put two and two together. And I said, that was me. That was me. Yeah. I had no problem saying, I guess I'm the troublemaker that, called out the illegal discrimination in the FBI, but nothing ever happened to them.
And there was still heat going on when you went over to the science unit, but I believe it was Melanie who was your boss, and you told Melanie just ride out the storm, right?
She was wonderful. Yeah. I mean, I had I still had the EEO case going, and I had an investigation going against me. Mm-hmm. So she didn't know anything about me. She gets this artist dumped in me, and it's like, oh my God, she's a troublemaker. She's under investigation. And she got to know. One time she called me into her office. This was hysterical. This is not in the book. She called me into her office, like 6 months after I had been there. And I walk in with my head down and I start closing the door behind me. And she's like, you don't have to close the door. Because I was so used to being yelled at. Right. I was like a whipped dog. So she goes, you don't have to close the door. So I'm like, okay, like what? And she starts talking and it's buzzing in my ears. And she's saying, you're doing such a great job. She gave me a time off award.
Really?
I started to cry. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, you're doing a wonderful job. We're so happy to have you in the unit. She was like, and I had gotten time off awards before, but that was like, I was expecting, I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get yelled at. She's like, no, it was seriously, I was like because I had just been tormented for so long. Wow. So yeah. And then, word starts going around. It's like, wait a minute. I hear that, Lisa wasn't the problem. Like, oh, she didn't do that. So word got around years after the fact that, gee, actually, Guess who wasn't the problem?
Yeah.
It's what, it's, you see it in the news. Like, I'm certainly not comparing myself with, anything with Weinstein or anything like that.
Sure.
But like, what they do is they attack the accusers.
Mm-hmm.
They attack the accusers. They trash the reputation. I remember Rose McGowan. I admire her, the actress, because she stood up against Weinstein and she told the truth, and she got blacklisted for it. But he trashed her reputation.
Yeah.
And that's what, the Bureau will do. If you've got a case against them,
Mm-hmm.
if you've got the goods on them, then they really that's when they really put the hammer down on you, because they're really trying to shut you up.
Oh yeah, they try to weasel out.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this new administration, are Harry and Frank still there?
No. Well, Harry might be. When I left, this was hysterical. One woman who stood up for him, a former coworker. Mm-hmm. This was kind of the joke was on her. She threw me under the bus. She said some things that just were not true, and in a funny twist, he got put under her. She became his supervisor, and then she got a taste firsthand of what it was like to have this guy under her, because he kept screwing stuff up. It was the stories. Can I tell you how I named Harry? Why I named him Harry?
Please do. Yeah.
Remember the movie Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. Harry
Dunn is the Jeff Daniels character. That's why I named him Harry Dunn.
Oh, that's perfect.
Most of them have little in-jokes. So that's why Harry is named Harry. Because he was literally that dumb.
That's fun.
So he went to her, and then she got fed up with him. And then he was this was after I left, he was demoted. So he was not a supervisor anymore. And then he was sent over outside of forensics to work at the academy under agents. So he had to report to agents. So he couldn't get away with this nonsense anymore. Yeah, you don't mess with FBI agents. All the ones I met were very nice, but you do not lie to an FBI agent. You do not say, I missed your deadline, FBI. Yeah, so it's not what he deserved, but he deserved worse. But he got a little bit of comeuppance that, he was, made much of himself as being a supervisor. He was a supervisor over 5 people. And then Frank just one day unceremoniously retired, like put in his papers the same day and was gone.
Really?
Usually there's a big band when a supervisor leaves. They do a going away party. There's 6 months notice.
Yeah.
One of my friends at the Bureau said, "Guess who retired today?" Like just out of the blue.
Huh.
Frank's gone. Didn't get a party.
Really?
I got a party. He didn't get a party. So, yeah.
And
karma. I don't know what. He's a miserable person, and he's bad at his job. So.
And through all of this, Lisa, there was in the aftermath, after the aftermath of all this explosion of Harry and Frank, and all this comes out in the wash. There's no, we're sorry, Lisa.
Oh heck no. No, the director of the laboratory, his name. What was his name in the book? Norton.
Norton. Yeah. Norton. Yeah. The new one that came in. Yeah.
Yes.
Norton. Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Norton was the penitentiary leader, the one that shot himself in the head. That's why I named that director Norton. Yeah. Because he was corrupt. So one time when he was leaving one day, by that time, my give a shits were gone. you know? And I saw him walking out one time and he was like, oh, gee, Lisa, you know? And I said, why? This is after, you know, I said, why didn't you do anything? I just talked to him. I was like, I don't care anymore. I said, why didn't you do anything about them? Why? I said, they're the ones that were breaking the law. I was just talking. And he was like, oh, well, trying to, tap dance or whatever. And he goes, well, they had to go to training. I said, oh, yeah, they had to watch a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Yeah.
And, oh, something went on their evaluation. And I literally said bullshit to the director. I said, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing happened.
So, yeah. What are you going to do? What are you going to I don't know. I laugh now because it's ridiculous and I'm away from it. And, I live in Portugal and they're miserable people. So
they are. With that said, do you believe in karma? Do you believe karma happens?
Actually, yeah. Not like, oh my God, somebody's going to have an anvil fall on their head. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that kind, like something horrible is going to happen to somebody. But I do, without getting woo-woo, I do think kind of the universe seeks a balance. What goes around comes around. And yeah, like it's, Harry has been, and maybe other things have happened to him too, but Harry was shown to be incompetent and kind of a laughingstock and got demoted. And I know that Frank, I know he knows this book is out. And I know he's read what I've said about him. And that right there is karmic justice for me, is just, he knows I'm laughing at him. Yeah. That to me is awesome. He knows I'm laughing. They can't do anything to me anymore. And to me, the worst kind of bully is a supervisor bully in a place like the FBI, because maybe if it was in a commercial situation, like a private company, you'd have, I don't know. But gosh, in the government, your supervisor, you're sunk. There's really, there's really not much you can do. They will protect their own. So
I do have one last question. That's this. Robert Mueller passed away recently.
Yes.
You do state in the book that it was almost impossible to get to him to be able to file a complaint.
Right.
What are your thoughts now that he's gone? First of all, about the man. Second, about why was it so impossible to get to him? And do you wish that, and how could that have been changed?
Well, you do have to have a chain of command. So you don't have, there's like, how many, 50, I forget how many tens of thousands of people work for the FBI. I'm sorry, I forget, several thousand. So you can't have everybody going like, my chair squeaks, you can't do that. But he sets the tone. And I have, I'm looking at a book right now. You know what? I'm just going to say it. I know that I respected Mr. Mueller like he commanded a room. I was like, he commanded a room. However, other agents have told me some, things, not anything like, not anything horrible. What's the word? Not anything unsavory. Just, he's a very demanding person, whatever. Yeah. But I know a very brave woman who was an FBI agent, and her book, she wrote a book. Her name is Kathy Stearman. She wrote a book about being in the FBI. She was an FBI agent and a legat, and she talks in her book about how Director Mueller asked her a question about the FBI and working among men, and she gave him a very straight answer, which took great big ones, but she did, because she's no shrinking violet. So Director Mueller knew. He knew.
Okay.
He knew what was going on. Not with me individually, but he knew there was a problem.
But he knew there were problems with the culture.
Oh, yeah. Of course he did. So did Comey. I know Comey knew. I met Comey several times. I know he knew.
Yet
it's too long to go into.
Sure.
But they just push it, it's just like, I mean, I think it was like a couple weeks after I retired, and if you Google it, it's gone away now, but a group of 12 women sued the FBI. They were actually on the Today Show. I remember sitting there watching it. They sued the FBI for discrimination because they were going through the FBI Academy to be agents. And I sat there watching it. I said, oh my God, they're in trouble now because the flying monkeys are going to come after them. And several months later, I actually saw a headline where one of those women had filed, had gone to a judge to request that went to the judge to have him order the FBI to stop retaliating against her.
Oh, wow.
It was in the paper. And they ultimately, I believe the case was settled, which means the FBI, I mean, when you have a class action, I mean, it was basically a class action.
Right.
That's where you get your power.
Yeah.
As an individual, you have no power. So yeah, of course they were discriminated against. Of course they were. Yeah. I saw it so much. I mean,
yeah.
And it's a shame because it's a shame because most people, like, other than the agents that grilled me for no reason for the investigation, other than those guys, and it was hysterical. They tried to do the good cop, bad cop on me, but the agents I worked with were all great, respectful, just very appreciative of the work that we did. And yeah, so it's a crying shame that it's that way. But I don't know how to change it other than to get rid of every person who was in any way had that reach with that system, as far as to basically make examples of people that, to let other management know that they'll be held accountable. Because Frank and Harry knew that nothing was going to happen to them. They knew the FBI would protect them. They knew it because the FBI doesn't want their reputation hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why they just acted with such blatant freedom, to harass me because they knew they could get away with it. So, yeah.
Well, the book is out, and we have a link to it in the description of this program, so you can read more about Lisa's journey within the FBI, and also some of the more interesting things about what happens to us when we're passed, and how we put that back together so that, God forbid, if something should happen to you, and your relatives do have to find you, how they put you back together so that they can find you.
You are scarily not that far away from becoming and remaining an unidentified person. You better hope it's not that wild of a concept that you could go missing and not ever be identified. I'm just saying.
That's true. And even as we sit here and talk, Lisa, there are 11 scientists that are involved with the government that are either dead or missing, including General McCaslin right now. That have to do with different government programs regarding the UFO and UAP projects. Yeah, it's something interesting.
I didn't. Yeah, I need to look that up.
Yeah, interesting too. I'll shoot you an article from the Daily Mail.
Okay.
Between us off air, and it's an interesting read. But General McCaslin is the recent one, but all are tied to two specific projects. And they've found remains for no one so far. So yeah, it's an interesting
and horrifying.
Exactly. So yes. So now that I've said that, don't go missing, Lisa.
No. The FBI will be after me. We'll get her.
This might be another 3-letter agency that we don't want to talk about on here. Yeah,
seriously.
But Clay and Bones, My Life as a FBI Forensic Artist is available right now. We have a link in the description of this program. Lisa, I want to thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. This was really fun.
It was fun for me as well. Folks, let's lighten things up a little bit. Let's bring in Jessica Freeberg. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer?
I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
It's that time again. Time you've all been looking forward to. It's time enough for dumb crimes and stupid criminals. So with that, I need a co-hostess. I always do. Because it's hard to do this segment with just myself. I would sound like some sort of raving lunatic. Although I've been told these days that's not unusual to have a raving lunatic talking in your ear. But I digress. What's one more to add to the pile, really? I mean, I may try it someday, but not today. No. So I reached my hand across the Twin Cities to someone who is intelligent, witty, lovely, very funny, by the way, and someone who Binder over at the Hindustan Times says has given him such a workload that his doctor pulled him aside this week and said, Binder, you not only are you physically worn out, but mentally and spiritually, I think you're about to collapse. And he said, but sir, you don't understand. I must. You don't understand. For all the people who support her out there, she must continue to chart. And I feel even if I work myself to the great beyond, there's 72 virgins and probably the chart gods waiting for me in the great beyond, and I must continue to do my work. It's a higher calling. It's a greater calling, and I must do it for Miss Freeberg. So I wept a small tear this week, a small tear for Binder in his great quest, and I think all of you should too. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here she is, eater of worlds, destroyer of charts, Jessica Freeberg. Jess, how noble of Binder.
Oh, darn. I feel so bad. I'm always
don't
tormenting him.
Don't feel bad for Binder, for he realizes now it's a noble quest.
Yep. Hopefully he makes money off of it, and I'm lining his pockets somehow.
Oh, I don't think so.
Just,
I think it's a few rupees and some gruel, but but he enjoys his work. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I enjoy mine too, and I'm excited to be a raving lunatic with you.
Oh,
today.
Great.
I figure if we do it together, it's not weird.
That's the story of my sex life. Did I start off on the wrong foot already? Are we not safe for work territory yet?
I think you can sprinkle a little in.
Okay.
It's kind of like a little salt and pepper.
Good. All right. That's what I do the show for. A few rupees and a bowl of gruel. That's all I get for this deal. So
for the fans, Tim.
That's right. It's for the love of the game, Jess. That's all I do.
That's right.
Before we go much further, I should mention to people, Potographs for Pooches. Speaking of doing things for a few rupees and a bowl of gruel, Potographs for Pooches, June 5th and 6th, up at the Palmer. Come help us raise money for the Tri-County Animal Shelter in St. Cloud. We're doing it for the animals, folks. Come ghost hunt with us. Come investigate and come have a good time with us so that we can help out the animals in St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Spud the Chipmunk says you have to do it.
That's right. And Phoebe Buffet agrees.
Right. So if the animals are telling us you need to come do it, you need to come do it. So details are at either darknessradioshow.com or go to potographsforpooches.com. I'll get this out of my mouth yet. That's what she said. Potographsforpooches.com and get your tickets. So there you go. All right. That's the second one I've dropped now before we've even gotten
Tim,
to
you got a
Safe
dirty
Harbor.
mind today.
I blame it on the wrestlers, Jess. It was WrestleMania weekend.
Oh, well, that does explain it. You're forgiven.
Yeah, that'll do it every time, won't it? They've thrown away the PG. I don't know if you know this or not, but since they moved to Netflix, they threw away the PG.
Oh, well, now it's just, is it rated R?
Well, not quite. They haven't gone that far, but they brought back the swears and all that other stuff. And if there's a wardrobe malfunction, I don't think they cover it up anymore, stuff like that.
Oh, fun.
No, gotta do what you gotta do to make money. Speaking of making money, holy cow. Okay, so SummerSlam tickets go on sale here in the Twin Cities. on May 1st. And I'm just going to rant, and then we'll move on. We'll start up the show. Do you know how much a basic ticket goes for SummerSlam? Over at US Bank Stadium, which, by the way, they got plenty of seats over there.
Is it more now than it's ever been before? That seems to be the changing of the time.
That should be the slogan. It's more now than ever before. Yeah, that should be the slogan. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. What is it now?
There's a reason why CM Punk 2 weeks ago went on WWE TV and said, lower the damn ticket prices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not attainable for the average folk?
No, a family of four is not going to SummerSlam this year and didn't go to WrestleMania this year. In fact, the first night attendance for SummerSlam they claimed was 50,000. It looked more like 40.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was held in the Raiders Stadium, in the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium. Mm-hmm. The starting ticket price, if you want to sit way up in the nosebleeds, is something like $500.
Oh, my goodness. Sell a kidney. Maybe you can take your kids.
Right. If you want to sit in anything decent, you're talking $1,200 a ticket.
What?
And it's a 2-day event.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. It's the first, not the first, but I think it's like the second 2-day SummerSlam they've had now. So, and
that's outrageous.
Top ticket, Jess, $11,000 a ticket.
Who's buying that?
They're corporate leaders, I'm guessing, is what they're doing. Yeah, they're TKO, the people who bought this deal from this traveling circus from Vince McMahon. They basically are trying to make it into something honorable and respectable, I guess. I have no idea. But they've jacked prices out of control. So.
That's super disappointing. Because honestly, like right now in this time of our cultural experience, we need things that are fun. We need to be able to go do stuff, get together and have a good time.
Right.
So to make it like so unattainable for normal people, that just sucks.
Well, and here's the kicker, right? Fuel prices higher than ever. Where are we going to be? And my guest on Thursday, Don Hall, put it perfectly. Where do we see ourselves in 6 weeks? Where do you see the world in 6 weeks? SummerSlam is in August. If fuel prices, I mean, we don't get too political on the show, but hey, fuel prices, I'm just talking fuel prices.
Yeah, not even politics, just the reality of what we're living right now.
As inflation has gone in the last year, inflation has climbed by steadily by about 3% per month. Think about where fuel prices are going to be. Fuel prices right now over last year are something like 80 cents higher. If that's the case, they've said that Europe, not us, because I'm trying to remember who it was. It was either a friend or a relative of mine was talking to Delta, and they have their own private refinery. So they won't run out of fuel, jet fuel. But Europe will run out of jet fuel in 6 weeks.
Yikes.
So you won't be traveling to Europe if things continue the way they are. I mean, so with that in mind, TKO has raised these prices to unimaginable unless you make $150,000 to $200,000 a year and you don't have familial ties or responsibilities.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I went and got groceries yesterday, not to like grumble on this hardcore, but it was $450. And there's 3 of us in this house.
Well,
that's not including my kids at college who go get their own groceries and then shoot me a text message and say, Mom, can you put $150 in my account? I'm like, how much money am I spending every month on groceries right now? It's insane.
Me and a chipmunk for a week, $150. I mean, come on.
What are we doing to ourselves?
Well,
we'll get through it, everyone. We'll be fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on, folks. an entertainment company can't keep doing that.
I know. Someone throw us a bone. I mean, everything is so expensive. Let us gather together for a reasonable price. That's a bummer.
Right. Yeah. So
just sell one of your kids and keep the one you really like and take them.
that's right.
There you go.
Right.
Problem solved.
Body parts are still expensive. That's all I know. Yeah. All right, let's
I'm
jump.
giving you all the good ideas.
Yeah. Well, you are. You're full of good ideas today, Jess. I'm telling you.
Oh gosh.
Well, we got some good stories here for Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. Maybe we can make you laugh for a little bit and get our minds off of how expensive shit is. Holy cow. Wow.
Well, even that makes me laugh, so I'm ready to laugh.
I'm just going to walk around US Bank Stadium and go, it sounds good from out here. That's what I'm going to do. SummerSlam weekend. We'll start out today with someone who's probably making enough to go to all the WWE PLEs, but yet she's still eating at McDonald's. God love her.
Oh, who's that?
Ice Spice.
Okay.
You know why you got to love some of our entertainers today, some of our younger entertainers? They got enough money to be bougie, but they still act ghetto.
You got to get their nuggets.
That's right. You got to get your McGangbang in whenever you can. Which, by the way, have you ever partaken in the secret menu at McDonald's and gotten the McGangbang?
No, I didn't even know they had a secret menu.
What? How do you not know about the secret menu at McDonald's?
I only know there's a secret menu at Starbucks. I didn't know everyone had a secret menu. What can you get on there? What's the McGangbang?
That's your mission this week, Jess. You're gonna take the daughter with you.
I'm afraid to ask for it. What exactly are they gonna do to me?
Well, that's half the fun.
Is that how we pay for our food now?
Mm-hmm. If you don't have the app, yes.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. You can't. You can still. I think you can still. You're gonna laugh when I say this. Order it orally, but you don't have to have the app in order to order it. But yes, the McGangbang is honestly, it's what it is. It's beef, chicken, and it used to be fish all in one, and it was in between Big Mac patties. Yeah.
Tim, that's 2 days worth of calories for me in one sandwich.
That's why you give it to the kid after you order it. And then you have them
My
try.
son could eat it. He's always trying to eat more calories.
There you
But
go.
I'd be like, I'll take a bite. Thank you.
There you go. You just try it and you hand it to one of the kids.
Wow. That's intense. That's a lot of meat.
just to see if they know what it is at that McDonald's. Most McDonald's know what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the McGangbang, try it. Try to see if you can order one.
If I do, I'm posting it on social media. You'll have to see me trying to get my mouth around that.
Hey now. But yeah, but look up as well when you go. There's also there's different. I think there's a coffee menu too, a McCafe menu, if I remember right. But there's different things on the secret menu of McDonald's. You just Google it; it'll tell you. There's different things. Yeah. There's a whole new world out there, Jess.
Well, I wonder if Ice Spice was ordering a McGangbang.
She's getting something done over there because she got into an altercation over there at the McDonald's. By the way, watching WrestleMania with friends this weekend, I learned what the kids are calling Wendy's these days, and I have a new name for it, and you should call it this too.
What is it?
Freckle bitches. Yep. Because one of the matches was sponsored by Wendy's, and my brother from another popped up and said, "Hey, look at Freckle bitches." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "The match is sponsored by Freckle bitches." And I was like, "Where?" I said, "That is the funniest thing I've ever heard." He goes, "Yeah." He said, "I heard some kid calling it Freckle bitches." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "See, I got my lunch from Freckle bitches." There you go. So,
Oh boy.
So if the kids come up to you and say, "Ma, can we get some nuggets from Freckle bitches?" You know what they're talking about.
I will. Now I'm in the know. Thank you.
The reason I bring that up is because both restaurants are in this story. Ice Spice speaks out after the LA McDonald's attack that she recently underwent. She said this wouldn't happen at Freckle Bitches. I mean, she said this wouldn't happen at Wendy's. I put in the Freckle Bitches part because I think that's quite funny. Ice Spice says she plans to take legal action after a physical altercation that took place at a Hollywood McDonald's. I didn't know Hollywood had a McDonald's, but
McDonald's is everywhere.
I guess they are, yeah. And that is currently under investigation by the police. The confrontation took place on Wednesday, April 15th. How appropriate on tax day she went to McDonald's. When, according to security camera footage shared by TMZ, the Bronx rapper was seated with a companion in the establishment when another woman approached them and asked to sit. That's kind of ballsy, especially if you don't know them.
Yeah.
Right? You just walk up to a well-known person and say, can I sit with you and just have some McDonald's?
Now, if I saw Ice Spice at McDonald's, I would have no idea who she was because I had to Google it.
You had to Google who she was?
I'm not cool. So if I asked to sit with her, it'd probably just be because I needed a place to sit.
Oh well, okay. There's that, sure. You just be like, excuse me, there's nowhere to sit. Can I sit with you?
You look nice. Can I sit with you?
You're a nice Ice Spice. Can I sit with you? So this woman had approached and said, can I sit with you? She was like, no, fam. Mm-mm. After the request was denied, the altercation ensued because evidently she's not a nice Ice Spice. She's an owly Ice Spice. Security video footage shows the woman attacking Ice Spice after that, going, oh, no, bitch, I'm going to sit with you. And then boom, boom, boom. And here we go.
No, that is not how you make friends.
No, you don't influence people either. Leading to the confrontation, moving to the parking lot, because that's where all good stuff ensues, where the rapper allegedly broke a phone owned by a friend of the woman. She got into it. So she basically took the woman's friend's phone and went, Gert, and handed it back and said, let me show you my Ice Spice powers, if there's such a thing. The altercation reportedly continued until the rapper received additional hits, as into the head. The police have been informed of the incident, and Ice Spice's team confirmed that they filed a report with the LAPD. The unprovoked attack on my client has been reported to the LAPD, and we will be pursuing any and all avenues to hold the perpetrators responsible for their actions, including criminally and civilly. The rapper's lawyer, Bradford Cohen, he sounds like he probably charges quite a bit an hour. I'll just put it that way. Yeah. Told TMZ. He said, we are also exploring holding the location responsible for their lack of appropriate security. Because I'm sure the Hollywood McDonald's has a security force.
You just have to have a bouncer at the Hollywood McDonald's just in case.
I wonder how much he would make. Do you think probably $15 an hour?
Yeah, that, and they pay him and stuff off the secret menu.
Yes, he probably is dining on the McBang. I can't even say it. The McGangbang hourly. Yes, he probably gets one an hour. Cohen noted that he plans to take legal action against the rapper's attackers, adding that a potential lawsuit could be brought against the establishment for failing to provide adequate security services. Ice Spice addressed the situation on X, formerly known as Twitter, tweeting, "This wouldn't happen at Wendy's." Why wouldn't it?
It's higher class there. I don't know.
Freckle Bitches has come down a little bit in quality.
It's been a minute since I've eaten at Wendy's. I won't lie.
Ever since Dave passed, just saying. Ever since the burgers weren't square, there's been a problem.
I didn't even know the burgers weren't square anymore. When did that happen?
Been a while. I mean, the doubles, I think, are still square.
Okay.
But the bacon cheeseburgers, round.
Round? Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I think maybe even the doubles are round. The Baconators are round, I believe.
It must have been cheaper for them just to get round patties rather than square ones.
Yep. Because you know why? Because the square ones were handmade. Everything was handmade. And now they don't hand make their patties anymore. They're shipped in. It used to be fresh, not frozen over there at Freckle Bitches. No longer. No. No. Not that tender love and care anymore at Freckle Bitches. I'll tell you that much. Now, according to the unnamed assailant who called herself Vaya, are you wondering how that's spelled, by the way?
Yeah. How do you spell Vaya?
Vayah. Vaya.
Ooh.
Yeah. She attempted to approach Ice Spice to introduce herself and offer compliments. So that's how this whole thing started. Yeah.
All right. So she was a fan.
Yeah. So she was like, Ice, nice to meet you. Can I beat your head in? Well, or sit next to you, one or the other. Still, the rapper reportedly reacted negatively to the gesture, prompting her to question the rapper's attitude. And don't show tood in the McDonald's or you're going to get served. And I'm not talking about with, an icy Coke or fries or a McGangbang, one or the other.
No, just a 1-2 punch.
That's right. Immediately, Ice Spice was rude. She was like, why are you over here? You can leave. Bye. Vaya told TMZ. You like, I did that? Bye. You got to do the bye. Saying that she had asked her where she came from and why she spoke that way. Ooh, we're getting into it. She added that tensions escalated after the rapper allegedly insulted her, leading that to her slapping her face. Later, the woman said she was confronted again in the parking lot where she claimed Ice Spice broke her friend's screen. So, yeah, it's a mess. It's a big mess. So, Ice Spice, not cool. Not cool.
Very not cool.
Right. Got to be chill when you're at the McDonald's. And I'll tell you what, if you pull that stuff at Freckle Bitches, they don't put up with that neither. No.
Their security will come out and handle you.
Right. I'll tell you what, they cut off your nuggets privileges, boom, like that. No more Baconators for you. I'll tell you that much right now. We're going to keep it on food, but not in the way you're expecting.
Uh-oh.
We were talking about how expensive things have gotten. You want to talk about how expensive things have gotten? Legos are out of this world.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
This I know. My kids still love to do Legos. So like when I go visit them at college, they'll be like, can you give me a Lego set that I can do while I'm drinking beer?
What?
That's what they do.
Really?
Maybe my kids are nerds.
I don't want to speculate, but
I'm actually just talking about one of them in particular. Not fair for me to throw shade on both of them.
Right, I got you. Yeah, you don't want to call one
it's
out.
It's the boy child.
All right, fine. You just called one out.
Yeah.
Well, let's role play a little bit here with that child. Let's say that child reaches into the Lego set, goes to pull out what he thinks is going to be, I don't know, what's the favorite of the child of Legos?
Well, he loves to do the Star Wars one, so.
Very good. He reaches in to pull out a Han Solo and instead pulls out a Fusilli. How would he feel then?
He'd be very disappointed.
Right. Probably because...
Or he'd feel really lucky because he got a different one,
Because he got pasta? I mean, he could cook it, sure. He'd have something to eat. But I don't think it'd be very good. Right?
Well, groceries are expensive.
They are, yeah.
One part of your dinner.
That's right. Turns out that there's a Lego bandit out there, Jess, who's been accused in a bizarre $34,000 scheme to replace minifigures in Legos with pasta.
Oh, okay. So he's opening the boxes and taking out...
He's taking out the figures and he's putting pasta in place of the figures. So do you remember did I ask you this before? Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Do you remember Fusilli Jerry? And he put in Fusilli Jerry instead of Han Solo?
No.
Boy,
I don't remember that one.
That's a deep joke. Okay. So it was George's dad who sat on Fusilli Jerry and he got it up the tuchus and they had to take him into the proctologist to remove him.
Oh, I feel like I need to revisit this whole series.
Okay, so look up the episode Fusilli Jerry. That's why I told the joke Fusilli. It's too long for us to get into, but Fusilli Jerry, Fusilli, Fusilli Jerry.
Okay.
Right. When you look that up, boy, will you laugh. A California man allegedly cooked up a bizarre Lego theft scheme, but police said it came apart piece by piece. Get it? Piece by piece. Jarrell Augustine, who's all of 28 years old of Paramount, is accused of buying Lego sets from Target. Why is it always Target that gets hit? Do they have no security there? Is the security sleeping all the time?
I think, well, if he's buying it and then is he buying it and then bringing it back? They have a very lenient return policy, I think. So maybe that's why.
I think that's probably it. He's accused of removing valuable minifigures and pieces and then returning the boxes after filling them with dried pasta. And getting away with it. Wouldn't the box be a little lighter?
I mean, yes, pasta does not weigh as much as Legos. So.
Yeah. Investigators linked him to roughly 70 thefts nationwide, totaling about $34,000 in losses.
Oh, man. I really am just envisioning this happening to my son.
He goes to open one of those boxes and he's like, yes!
He's just sitting there drinking his beer. He opens up his Legos and then he's really confused.
Finally, I got the Mandalorian ship. And it's nothing but fusilli. Yeah. The Irvine Police Department said detectives used surveillance to identify Augustine as a suspect. He was taken into custody and booked into the Orange County Jail on grand theft charges. Police shared details of the case in a social media post and added a humorous warning about the unusual methods. Of course they did. They can't resist themselves. They said, if your master plan involves swapping Legos for linguine, we can promise your plan will be cooked al dente.
Oh.
And then they went back to dad joking the way they normally do. They got a guy with a little drum in the background going, yeah! Nailed it. That's us. Oh, yes. We had a very funny. That's what they're doing over there. They're like, oh, yes. Then they got the little applause like this. They're like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Very, very funny. Those guys. They also had more to say, Jess. I don't know if you're buckled in yet or not. The footage then shows officers placing him under arrest in body camera video. The unusual case also drew reactions online, with some social media users leaning into the humor as well, because, you know, this kind of humor is worldwide. The case had so many possibilities, one user said. Good for IPD using their noodle, one commenter wrote. Oh, there it is. Woo! You mean to tell me he was an imposter? I'll see myself out. Another joke. An imposter? Others questioned the method, with one user writing, stealing Legos and Goya beans? WTF? That's that story there. So, yeah.
That one was full of dad jokes.
It was, yeah, wasn't it? You know, I figured it was a nice way to
That's a good one.
ease us into this. There's one thing you should never do when you're trying to get away from the cops. You should never try to mark it down on your gas tank.
Pigs evaded.
Yeah. Yeah. You never want to put it anywhere where the cops can see that you've gotten away from them previously, right? You probably want to be sly about it.
Yeah, then it's like challenge accepted.
Right. Then the cops are like, oh, yeah, let me make sure we break that streak. Louisiana troopers caught a suspect who apparently kept tally of the times he had escaped the cops. Again, you never want to let them know that you're keeping track. Police say they finally captured a man who kept fleeing from cops on his motorcycle. Troops with the Louisiana State Police Troop C arrested a motorcyclist wanted for multiple counts a flight from an officer in St. Charles Parish. Here's a picture of him, Jess.
Oh.
Being caught by the St. Parish police. Isn't that nice?
Busted.
Yeah.
With a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's kind of like, wah, 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 wah. Actually, I have that right here. There it is right there. There he is. The agency shared pictures of the suspect and his bike that had what appears to be an ongoing count of the number of times he has fled authorities and eluded capture. On his motorcycle, it says, as Jess said, pigs evaded. There are 11 tally marks below the words, appearing to indicate he has successfully run from the police nearly a dozen times. On Monday, they caught him.
It's about time, fellas.
Yeah. What makes you go, you know what? I think I'm going to keep tally on the gas tank. What?
That's pretty cocky.
Yeah. Well, why not just take the win? Take the win and be happy.
Yeah, get it as a tattoo so you can see it, but not the cops can't necessarily see it.
Right. Tattoo it on your groin where they're not going to look unless you really get arrested and then maybe deloused. That's yeah.
There's a nice tramp stamp on the back there.
That's right. That's right. All right. An even better story. I don't know if you remember this story or not, Jess, but we're going to Southern California. There were 3 Southern California residents earlier or actually late last year, that were caught for bear suit insurance fraud. Do you remember this?
No.
I'll remind you in this story
Okay.
it was quite an interesting story. 3 Southern California residents have been sentenced in a bizarre insurance fraud scheme, which prosecutors say involved them staging fake bear attacks on high-end cars. Yeah. There's still some ingenuity out there, right?
Yeah.
It all
creative.
Creative. Yeah. It all stems from a claim that suspects filed. It stems from a claim that suspects filed with their insurance company saying a bear got into their car, which is a 2010 Rolls-Royce Ghost at Lake Arrowhead on January 28th, 2024, and damaged the inside with scratches. The California Department of Insurance, and yes, that's a real thing, said the suspects provided a video to the company which showed the bear in the car.
Wow.
Keep in mind, this is a high-quality production, and it is California. Right.
They were pros.
That's right. An investigation into the claim, dubbed Operation Bear Claw, that's a real thing, took a closer look at the video and found the bear was actually a person in a bear costume, the insurance department said. Investigators then took the video to biologists with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. It went this far to look into the video. The biologist said it was clearly a human in a bear suit.
Come on, guys.
Investigators uncovered 2 other fraudulent claims submitted to different insurance companies regarding the same incident. So it's not the first time they did it.
Oh, they had a plan and some follow through. Impressive.
And they got paid, evidently. On Thursday, 39-year-old Alfia Zuckerman of Valley Village, Ruben Tamrazian of Glendale, and I believe this is Vi Murakanyan, that's what it is, of Glendale, were sentenced to 180 days in jail in order to pay restitution. A 4th suspect, 39-year-old Ararat Churkinian of Glendale, still has a pending case. Officials say the total cost to the insurance companies, if you're ready for this, Jess, that's all they got was 180 days, right? $141,839 for this whole expedition.
Wow.
Of trying to figure out if it was someone in a bear suit.
They should have used a Bigfoot costume. That would have been more exciting for us.
Now, if I'm Hollywood, we make this into a movie and try to get this back, right? If I'm the insurance company, I pitch it to Hollywood.
Yes.
Right? I don't know what you call it, but it's got to have a catchy title. Something like Barely There, or I don't know, something that'll make people think it's a porn movie, so you'll go watch it.
Yeah. I can see this being like a Jack Black type of film. Paul Rubin,
Yeah.
those kind of guys.
Yeah. You know, yeah, something where, you know, it's some sort of hijinks comedy.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. Next story. The numbers are up for a cell phone bandit. A mugshot offers the first glimpse of a Virginia suspect's left ear. I didn't know that's why or how we're identifying people now, but evidently we are.
Must be a very distinctive left ear.
I guess. We're going to meet Candace Martinez, who is a 19-year-old Virginia woman who's suspected of being the so-called cell phone bandit who recently robbed 4 banks while apparently pretending to be yakking on a cell phone. Martinez, who I have a picture of here, was nabbed early in the morning on November 15th, a day after Fairfax County cops obtained a warrant charging her with robbery. Martinez, I have a picture of her mugshot here. Let me see. Where's her mugshot, though? They say, I won't dwindle on it. There's 1,000 ads here as well. You don't want to see the ads either, Jess. No. Is expected to be charged in connection with 4 Wachovia bank heists occurring between October 12th and November 4th of last year. During an October 22nd stick-up, police claim Martinez handed a teller a box with a note attached demanding cash. According to an FBI affidavit, Martinez admitted to investigators that she committed the 4 robberies. She also claimed that the heists were planned by her boyfriend and getaway driver, Dave Chatroom Williams. Why he needs 3 names, I have no idea. He wasn't that big of a mastermind. Who was arrested yesterday and admitted his wheelman's role, according to the affidavit. Interesting. So, yes, folks, I'm going to show. Actually, she's quite a striking young woman for 19.
Did you find her?
There she is.
Oh, yeah, she is.
But that's
Very
how
pretty.
she'd roll up to the bank, put her cell phone to her ear, act like she's yakking away, and then go, "Oh yeah, by the way, give me the money."
And you wouldn't expect it from her.
No, you'd be like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "Yeah, give me the money." Yeah. Let me finish this phone call, but give me the money. Right? Would you be annoyed, or would you think she was serious if you're a bank teller?
I mean, if anyone was holding me up at a bank, I would just give them the money.
That's what
So,
you're supposed
I'd
to
be
do now.
Okay.
Yeah. They tell you not to fight it now.
Yeah.
Just to hand it over, because they say, well, chances that we're going to catch them is pretty good. So go ahead and give it over. So, yeah, I guess. Our next story is probably the cutest darn accident I've ever reported on in my life. And I've been reporting for a long time, Jess. 30 some years in this business. And I don't think I've ever in my life had to report on a story like this. I don't think there's a crime involved here. I just had to report this story. So here goes. We're going to report on the stickiest situation I think I've ever reported on and ever gone, aw.
Aw. Sticky situation. Let's hear it.
Yes. No injuries reported after a semi full of gummy bears caught fire along Interstate 80.
Aw.
See, I told you.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make you want to go, oh, and then you're like, oh, but are the gummy bears okay? But then you're like, wait a minute, they're not alive. But you're like,
They're
oh.
melted.
Yeah, but can you imagine the little screams from the gummy bears as they're melting?
Help me.
No! I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought about that part as well.
I'm melting.
There were some victims there. I think the news got it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to report on the amount of gummy bears that
Hundreds of
perished.
thousands of gummy bears perished
That's right.
in this fire.
Now it's just a gummy slag on the road. It's one of the biggest gummy slaughters in the history of North Platte, Nebraska, which is where we're going, North Platte, Nebraska. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office said in a Facebook post that on April 7th at about 3:55 a.m., nothing good happens at 3 a.m., especially to gummy bears. Deputies responded to a report of a semi on fire near mile marker 166 on Interstate 80. When deputies arrived, oh God, there's a picture of the slaughter. Those inhumane bastards, they took pictures.
The dead gummy bears?
Yes, they're all over it. You want to see it?
Crime scene photo.
Yeah. Deputies responded to a report of a semi on fire near mile marker 166 on Interstate 80. When deputies arrived, the semi-trailer was fully engulfed in flames. You could hear tiny little screams, and the driver was successful in removing the truck before the fire got out of control. Oh, sure, he didn't go save the bears first. He just moved the truck.
Yeah. He didn't want that truck to burn up.
Unfeeling, uncaring bastard. The Post said the semi was loaded with gummy bears and posed no hazmat danger. That's all he was worried about.
Well, that's a good sign.
If you're getting noxious fumes from gummy bears, maybe those are the ones you shouldn't be eating, right?
We got some serious troubles with what's in our food.
Right. Hershey and Sutherland volunteer fire departments responded and stopped the spreading grass fire as well as extinguished the trailer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, there's a grass fire as a result. By the way, can we have a moment of silence for these poor victims right here?
Oh,
Yeah,
God bless.
There they are. Yeah.
I'm just a mess now.
I want to sit and name each one individually, but we don't have the time. Yeah. It's one of those annoying habits I have. I'll probably do it tonight as I'm trying to fall asleep. I'll come up with names of each individual one.
Instead of counting sheep, you'll be naming departed gummy bears.
You know, I see worms in there too, gummy worms, which is even more tragic.
Oh,
but
sad they didn't even mention them in the story. It's like for the forgotten victims.
Right. Is it because they don't have the little gummy faces? I mean,
Yeah, worms have feelings too.
they do. I mean, you know, they needed to be included. It's a shame. It's horrible. Although I do see two perfectly good bags of gummies that survived. Why not mention the survivors? You know, they're important. They matter. Why not interviews? No interviews with the survivors.
No interviews of the survivors. That's bad reporting, Tim.
That's right. I mean, one gummy bear had this to say, "Shit, there were flames everywhere," which I know sounds a lot like my Elmo, but the screams of torture. Ah! Yeah. So, an even more bizarre story for us, Jess. As we go to New Hampshire, I know you're saying, Tim, was this a slow week? God damn right, it was a slow week.
Hey, you can only work with what you've got, Tim. I think you're doing a bang-up job.
And again, you're referring to my sex life, Jess. Thank you so much. A New Hampshire mustard company owner is sentenced for a river pollution scheme.
What?
Yes, I know. You're saying, what? Now our mustard companies are in trouble?
Now mustard companies are polluting the earth? Come on.
That's right. By gosh. The owner of a New Hampshire mustard company will spend time behind bars after a court determined the company secretly pumped pollutants into a river. 60-year-old Charles Santich, who owns the Old Dutch Mustard Company in Greenville, New Hampshire, is going up the river after he dumped it in the river.
No, that's where he belongs.
That's right. He was sentenced to 18 months in prison.
Wow. That's pretty hefty.
People in Florida don't even get 18 months in prison.
And they're out there naked, slashing people with samurai swords.
Yeah, and he just dumped a little something in the river, and he's getting 18 months. The company must pay a $1.5 million fine for violating the Clean Water Act. Prosecutors said the company has had a long history of noncompliance with negotiations beginning in the 1980s. So for 45 years, they've been dumping crap in the river.
Dang. Why'd you have to go and say 1980 was 45 years ago, Tim?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that, Jess. Speaking of, I was as I was pulling stories last night, I was watching classic MTV.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
I got the biggest case of musical whiplash in my life. From 1 minute they're playing Motley Crue, Too Young to Fall in Love. The next they're playing Is It Love by New Edition. And I think I hurt my neck.
Some of those videos back in the day, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My agent had a birthday party, and it was at the Mounds Theater, actually. And they had the music videos playing on the big screen. Mm-hmm. And we're just like, I feel like I'm in a fever dream. Like, they're all so weird.
They are, aren't they? Okay. I saw a video again, not to get off the mustard guy, because I'm sure he's going to get off in prison plenty. But he's 60. He's 60, folks. They're going to put a wig and lipstick on him. But the one video I saw, I thought I was never going to see again. I thought I had put behind me. If you want a scare, the scare of a lifetime, go on YouTube and put in Dino, I Like It.
Okay. I'll have to watch that.
Oh, you will say to yourself, why did I waste that time? Then you'll say to yourself, why did they give Dino that much time to sing that song? Because the video does not end. It may be like a 4.5 minute song. It feels like the soundtrack of hell. Like the song goes
that
on.
Bad.
Oh, the song feels like it goes on for 10.5 minutes.
Huh.
Because it goes, that's the way it has to be, because that's the way I like it. And you're like, stop it!
I guess that song really is so repetitive now that you bring it up. I can't imagine the video for it. I'm going to have to watch it for sure.
It is the whitest dancing you'll ever see. He is the whitest man you'll ever encounter. And was given a reject R&B rap beat from someone who went, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not using that. But he did. God bless you.
It was a popular song, so.
You know why? Because we were all doing cocaine. That's why. We didn't know what we were listening to. But God bless you, Dino. I hope that Subway you're managing now is doing well. I hope life is treating you well, my friend. I hope you're singing your own song as you're slinging sandwiches at the Subway. Anyways, we're back to, speaking of sandwiches, back to the mustard guy. He's going to get plenty of mustard flung on his back in prison.
Oh, no.
We're not even in not safe for work territory yet. See what I did there, Jess? See what I did there? See how I connected? I made one big tapestry. It's one big conspiracy theory. I connected the dots here.
Oh, Lord. And the way only you can, Tim. Such a gift.
Well, it's not what my mom says. They used to call her in for parent-teacher conferences over this stuff. They said Santich devised a scheme to extend an underground pipe to move contaminated water from the factory to the, I believe it is the Sahegan River, to save money on shipping the water out.
Oh, that's such a crappy thing to do.
So this is why he's going to be wearing a wig and lipstick in prison from now on. So
yeah.
Congrats, buddy. Employees were ordered to do it or risk losing their jobs.
Wow.
He is so, they're going to make him pay in prison.
Yikes.
It happened for 6 years, and the state attorney general said Santich submitted false documents to cover up what was happening. The court agreed with experts that the wastewater was pumped into the river and caused environmental harm and likely caused a mercury fish consumption advisory in the area of the discharges.
Yikes, what a jerk.
Yeah, so enjoy that mustard.
Just up the price on your mustard and pay to have it shipped out.
Yeah, exactly. So enjoy your old Dutch mustard, everybody.
I won't be eating that anymore.
Yeah, if you ever did.
I don't think I ever did.
No, I didn't either. Yeah, so there you go. All right, it's time now for Not Safe for Work. Although I probably should have done that before the last.
Wait a second, Jim.
Yeah, I know. I probably should have given the disclaimer before I jumped into that last story, because now the kids are traumatized.
You're like, Mommy, why would there be mustard on his back?
Because they're having a food fight in prison, kids. That's why. That's why. Get the kids out of the room. You probably should have already. Get your boss out of the room. You probably should have already. We'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You remember the man who was accused of urinating on a Florida airport taxiway?
I do, yes.
And chasing after planes? Well, we found out more about him because they've sentenced him in court. Let's find out why he did this, Jess. He had some colorful reasons.
I can't wait to hear them.
Yeah. We go to Daytona Beach, Florida. The man who's accused of driving his blue Mustang through a gate at the airport in Daytona Beach, trying to get on planes, has been indicted by a federal grand jury because you go straight to the top when you F around and find out at a, now I use F around and find out at an airport. The Department of Justice on Thursday said 58-year-old Brian John Parker of Holly Hill was charged with damaging, destroying, or disabling airport facilities and entering an aircraft or airport area in violation of security requirements. He could spend 30 years in federal prison if convicted, and he will be, trust me. Around 4:30 p.m. on March 25th, Parker, in his blue Ford Mustang, plowed through a gate at Daytona Beach International Airport. According to the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, Parker was highly intoxicated when he rammed the gate and headed toward Embry-Riddle area of the airport. Parker then approached an occupied running airplane and attempted to board, but it was unsuccessful because the plane had already been locked. Parker made 2 more attempts, ultimately boarded an unoccupied plane at that point. According to VSO, he was not on the plane for long before airport operations and Embry-Riddle security took him into custody. At one point, Parker was running around on foot, urinating on the taxiway, and chasing after taxiing aircraft. Because why wouldn't he be? I mean, it seems to be the thing to do. If we can just get the story to move here. Oh, here we go. In the video of his arrest, Parker says he doesn't remember any of this.
Wow.
How can you not remember such an occasion? I mean, it's kind of a big day in the life, right?
So there were a lot of choices that were made.
Right.
He doesn't remember any of them.
We're making big boy choices. You're right, Jess. Parker says to the deputy, I went to an AA meeting. The next thing I know, I'm doing cocaine, drinking, and smoking pot.
What?
One of these things doesn't connect because we go to an AA meeting to do what, Jess?
Not to do those things, Tim.
Right. We go to talk about getting sober and why we don't do those things. But somehow he ended up getting the cocaine, drinking, and smoking pot. We had what's called in the industry a relapse.
Yeah, not really an advertisement for that particular AA meeting.
Right. Probably don't want to go back to that location. It's probably bad. The deputy asks, so you were doing all kinds of drugs and ran through a gate? Parker says, yeah, and I crashed my car. So, yeah, it's a full day.
And I peed on stuff.
And I peed all over airplanes because, if you pee on them, you get to take them home. You own them now, I guess.
That's mine.
Mine, just like a dog. Mine.
Literally what I say to my dog when we go for a walk and he pees on stuff. Oh, that's yours.
That's yours now, yeah. No one else can have it. It's yours. It is yours. That's for sure. Yours. That's right. Okay. 2 more stories left on today's big program. The first of those 2, a judge has ordered the town of Mooresville, it's probably to WBTV, video of a pantsless mayor inside its town hall.
Oh, no.
I don't know how many times the mayor of your town has been pantsless inside its town hall. But evidently in Mooresville, North Carolina, a judge has ordered the town of Mooresville to release footage of Mayor Chris Carney in the town hall after hours pantsless. The judge's ruling came after WBTV filed a lawsuit against the town for refusing to release the CCTV footage. The judge's ruling determined that the videos are indeed public records. The judge rejected the town of Mooresville's argument that the footage should be considered sensitive security information that could be used to reverse engineer building layout information.
That's a stretch.
It is a stretch, isn't it? The judge has ordered that town officials either release the footage to WBTV within 5 business days or submit it to the court for in-camera review and propose redactions and the legal reasoning behind such redactions. On October 10th of 2024, to get an idea why the mayor is pantsless in his own town hall, Carney went to town hall after midnight with a woman who was receiving taxpayer dollars as a communications consultant. Motion detectors went off twice, sending police to town hall. Something tells me they weren't doing taxes at midnight.
Get a hotel room, people.
It's cheaper, at town hall. That's what I hear anyways.
Oh.
The incident received widespread media attention and recently led to Mooresville town commissioners voting 4-2 in a vote of no confidence against Mayor Chris Carney. There's no video of me in my office or anything. Carney, of course. Well, then he's not guilty. Carney told WBTV during a 2024 interview, I mean, it's all about me in the hallways. I can't imagine anything that would be pressing me going to the bathroom. So supposedly he went to the bathroom, lost his pants. Which, I mean, how many times, folks, have we gone to the bathroom and just happened to lose our pants and roam around the city hall?
I mean, it happens all the time.
Especially around midnight, when we're in the company of others. In 2026, former Mooresville employees filed lawsuits telling a different story about what happened that night. Jeff Noble, a former IT employee, filed a lawsuit against the town in January of 2026. He claims he was retaliated against after discovering surveillance video of Carney in town hall after hours with his pants off. Pants off, dance off. That could be the other thing that happened. I mean, you never know. Could have been music playing. You can see the mayor at least on a couple different occasions without wearing pants, which is a very big issue, Noble said. That's unethical. Well, now our forefathers never said, governing without pants was unethical. I can't. I
mean, it's weird.
It's weird, but I can't find a statute. Former IT director Chris Lee filed a lawsuit in March of 2026 claiming he was fired because of how he handled surveillance footage of Carney. He claims that town leaders pressured him to suppress or delete the video and related records. I mean, it is a little weird that he wants his stuff deleted.
I mean, he's like, let's just pretend this never happened.
Yeah, sure, little Carney was swaying in the breeze, but, so what, Lee said he reviewed the footage from multiple camera angles. Of course he did. And described seeing Carney and the communications consultant enter the building after hours. He said that he saw the pair go upstairs into an office and remain there for an extended period of time. Again, tax consultant stuff.
Definitely just work, Tim.
Right, just work, Jess. And then after midnight again, you see back and forth to the bathroom a couple of times. Coffee, lots of coffee, right? And then eventually, I did see them come out and there was no clothing on whatsoever. And you can directly see that, Lee said.
Wait, they were like buck naked?
Buck naked.
What?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't even think I want to walk around my own house buck naked, just like, let alone in the town hall.
In his lawsuit, Lee claims the video shows Carney in a state of partial or complete undress with his genitalia exposed and his penis visibly erect while inside the town hall. Maybe he's excited to be there. Government gets him excited, Jess. Governing gets him excited.
Taxes especially get him excited.
Yeah. He feels alive when he's inside town hall. You know what I mean?
Yikes.
Power is an aphrodisiac, Jess. So that's pretty much that story.
Well, it's a pretty good one, Tim.
There you go. Pants off, dance off in town hall. And finally, rectum damn near killed him. An inmate is accused of attempting to smuggle fentanyl in his rectum and then trying to swallow it afterwards. So,
Ooh.
how's that song go? What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel got to go around.
I don't really like the order of events there. First, it was in his rectum. Then he swallowed it to try to hide it.
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah. Butt drugs. Yeah.
Was there time for him to wash it off in between, I hope?
Well, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them all, and there you have the ass fentanyl. Is that how it goes? Yeah, I think that's how it went. Yeah, it's the Ass Fentanyl, I think, was a show on NBC, right, in the 80s?
I loved that show.
Yeah, the Ass Fentanyl. Yeah, that was a great show in the 80s on NBC.
Yeah, those girls were great.
Yeah, they loved the Ass Fentanyl too, didn't they?
I don't think so.
Pretty sure, yeah. Tootie used to roller skate around and take the Ass Fentanyl, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure, right? Am I remembering this right?
I mean, maybe I missed that episode, but
I don't think I did. I think I remember that pretty well. We go to Olympia, Washington, where an inmate in Thurston County Jail is facing additional charges on top of the ones he was initially brought in for. According to the Thurston County Sheriff's Office, the man who was being booked for domestic violence was being escorted through the facility when a corrections sergeant saw him making movements with his hands towards the back of his pants.
dead giveaway.
Something's dead back there, I'll tell you that much. The sergeant intervened and found that the inmate was attempting to shove a small amount of suspected fentanyl into his rectal cavity. Oh, he hadn't quite done it yet.
Whoa.
He was
Caught in the process.
He was late with his homework assignment, if you know what I mean.
You got to do that before they get there, buddy.
Right. You probably should have done that before you got there. The pair fought over control of the drugs, and the inmate then tried to eat the narcotics. Oh, he would have died. You can't eat that much fentanyl. But was stopped from doing so, the sheriff's office said. That inmate was booked for possessing a controlled substance in a correctional facility. Canine Talia conducted a sweep of his previous housing area, the sheriff's office said. No word on if Talia bit the guy in the balls, because that's always the fun part of it, right? Get the canine to bite him in the balls.
Oh, ouch.
All right. With that, I think we needed our palate cleanser now that we've talked about ass fentanyl. I mean, you got to do something. We're going to go with, for this palate cleanser, so you think you had a bad day.
Okay.
Two scenarios of you think you had a bad day. We're going to talk about the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and some of the things they've had to endure in their job. It ain't all Dudley Do-Right, Jess.
I bet not.
Looking for Nell. No. RCMP applicants endured improper and invasive medical exams for years, according to a lawsuit.
What?
That's right. Dudley Do-Right ain't been done right at all.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Done dirty.
That's right. RCMP medical form had doctors probe recruits' genitals, rectums, and breasts.
Why?
I don't know. They're just trying to be Mounties. Evidently, they're getting mounted.
Before we can give you your badge, bend over. Thank you.
That's right. 1,000 RCMP employees, past and present, allege that as new recruits applying for jobs, they were subjected to improper and invasive breast, genital, and rectal exams during mandatory medical screenings, according to the CBC News. Class action lawyers say 1,000 RCMP recruits and employees have come forward complaining about doctors performing 1,000 of them. This is an epidemic, Jess.
This is not an isolated incident, Tim.
No, this isn't like 10 of them. This is like 1,000. They're like, I got touched improperly, They got me in my maple syrup. They came forward complaining about doctors performing inappropriate and unnecessary exams, many of which arose to the level of sexual assault or battery. Megan McPhee, who I believe is a member of Fleetwood Mac and is also the plaintiff's lead lawyer, says the lawsuit, launched in 2019, certified in 2021, originally focused on allegations of sexual assault by 2 RCMP doctors. This was done by 2 doctors?
Wow. Not just one pervert, but 2.
Dr. McGrabby and Dr. McFeely, evidently, are the 2 doctors who did all this. But after the story made headlines, hundreds of men and women leveled complaints about 26 doctors. Thank God. I was going to say 2 doctors.
Yeah, that 1,000. But still, that's crazy that there were 26 doctors doing this. I mean, I'd feel better if it was just like one creepy doctor.
Yeah, but still 20. I mean, that's still a small amount for 1,000 people,
Wild.
right?
Yeah.
26 doctors hired by the RCMP did all this damage. During court proceedings, the RCMP has also had to produce an internal form they gave doctors mandating a checklist exam for all candidates as a final step before they were hired. Many of us were surprised by some of the things on the form, McPhee told CBC News. Squeezing an applicant's breast to see if there's discharge, looking at genitourinary systems, checking for a male to see if they're circumcised. Why you need to...
What? Who cares?
Yeah, why do you have to be circumcised to be a Mountie?
And what if you do have discharge coming out of your nipples? How does that impact your job?
Yeah, right. It doesn't screen for occupational health, she said. I have an incredibly hard time imagining whether a male is circumcised or not and has any application to the ability to perform the role as a police officer.
I mean, this is so weird.
It is. It's bizarre. The case is headed to federal court in Toronto on January 19th, where McPhee will ask for compensation and a summary judgment to settle the multi-million-dollar case without a full trial. The RCMP declined CBC's request for an interview, but in its court filings, it has denied claims of systemic negligence. In an additional statement to CBC News, the RCMP expressed concern for anyone who felt victimized and said it was opposing the motion to, or not because the allegations are trivial, but because the legal and factual issues in this matter require a full trial. The RCMP does not minimize the seriousness of the allegations involving the former physicians, wrote Media Relations Officer Camille Boilly-Lavoie. It's a bizarre story, folks.
Yeah. And it sounds like the doctors were just doing what they thought they were supposed to do because somebody put it on a checklist.
Yeah.
Like some creepy dudes were sitting around one night and they're like, let's put that on there. Let's see if they actually will do it.
Yeah, let's see if they'll do it. Yeah. Let's check your foreskin now. Come on, drop your pants.
Pardon me, I just need to pinch your nipple now.
Yeah, let's see if the boob produces any milk. Because I got to do it. It's on the list. What?
So weird.
It's weird. All right. This one I had to put in our palate cleanser today because it brought back a flashback from high school. I think I've told this story on the show before. Did I tell you the sub story about Pete Smith, our buddy who had Tourette's?
No, I don't think so.
Did I never tell you this story?
I don't remember it, but maybe it'll come back to me. Start talking. I'll tell you.
This is a little involved, but I'm going to try to give you the abridged version.
Okay.
All right. Before I continue any further, I think there's a statute of limitations to this. So in case there's any criminal action on my part.
Oh, no. You shouldn't tell us.
Because I'm reading this story and I'm thinking someone in this story might have got arrested. This incident in this story is very similar to something that happened in my newspaper class.
Okay.
Okay. So I graduated Blaine High School and I was the photo editor of my school newspaper. We had a very cool newspaper advisor, Harry Jackson. I know people are like, that sounds like a euphemism that I'm making up the name. It's not. That was his name. Harry was leaving to go to a conference. It was an end of the year conference, and for media advisors. And he left us with a sub, but he wanted to do something cool for us. So he got an original print of The Godfather. Now imagine this. You're in high school and you're going to get to watch The Godfather.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool, right? So you're going to spend your lunch hour watching The Godfather because there's really nothing for us to do. We don't have an issue of the paper to put out. We put our last paper to bed for the year. So he managed to get the reels for The Godfather brought in. The sub is just going to come in, put on The Godfather, and it's the original, reels of The Godfather, actual film. We've known about this for weeks, and we're pumped. We're all jazzed. Well, we had a kid in our class by the name of Pete who had Tourette's. And he was high functioning, had Tourette's. But he just had kind of a nervous tick where he moved his head. And he kind of sounded like Ronald Reagan. So this was like his voice sounded like this, So he would say, he'd come to me and say, Tim, what do you think about this name for for an article? Okay, so what Harry would do, Pete desperately wanted to be a writer. So they put him on the editorial page. And Pete would write an editorial and Harry would look at it, but he'd almost never publish it because Pete kind of went into fantasy and he would write his own stuff, but it was always like inappropriate, whatever he would write. Pete only had one article that made it to the paper, and he wrote an inappropriate fantasy about the principal and a pizza driver. And it actually...
That made it into the paper?
It made it into the paper because everybody was busy with deadlines. And he asked me what he should name it. And I was busy at the time. I was in the dark room and I was developing pictures and I was under my own deadline. And he goes, Tim, would you read it and tell me what I think I should name it? Sorry, I have to do the head tick in order to do the voice. And if you're watching on video, and I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know, because it started out with the principal putting the Domino's pizza driver on the desk and doing the driver, and coffee was spilled on the desk, and then somebody pulled the fire alarm in order to get the pizza driver out of there, and so I'm like, I don't know, fire drills and coffee spills. He goes, ooh, that's good. So that's what he named it, right? So when he turned it in, our editorial editor just went, oh, yeah, okay, she was in a hurry. So she passed it on to Harry, who was in a hurry to put the paper to bed, and assumed that the editorial editor had read it before the copy went to print and had okayed it. And nobody communicated with each other. And it went to bed and it went to print and ended up in the paper. Then our Principal Bonthius, read it and realized it was completely unedited.
Oh my goodness. That is so bad and great all at the same time.
Every student had to give their paper back. It was embarrassing. It was funny, but it was embarrassing. So this is on a bigger level than that, to give you an idea. So I'll try to make this quicker. So Harry arranges for us to have a sub and The Godfather. So Pete comes to me a couple weeks before the sub comes in and goes, hey, Tim, should we do some sort of a prank on the sub? I'm like, no, Pete, no, because we're going to get to see The Godfather, right? We're going to get to watch The Godfather. This is cool. Godfather is one of my all-time favorite films. We're going to get to see it unedited. So no, Pete, no. But I had this really cool, funny idea. I'm like, what's that, Pete? Because I kind of have to know. I got to know, right? Pete's he's got a dirty mind. I got to know. Well, my dad has all these old penthouses and Playboys at home. And I was just thinking, maybe, like when she goes to pull down the screen, I would take my lunch hour and I would just plaster the screen full of all these cutouts from Playboy and Penthouse. I'm like, that's funny, but no, don't do that. Don't do that, Pete. Ooh, okay. But I mean, I could. No, Pete, no. We're going to get to watch The Godfather.
Don't ruin this for us.
Don't ruin this for right. I said, this movie is amazing. Don't ruin this for us. Okay. No, I won't. I said, promise? Oh, I won't ruin it. He didn't say promise. I said, okay.
You had to make him pinky promise, Tim.
I should have made him pinky swear. Right.
That'll teach you.
So the big day is here. Harry goes to his conference. We're in the lunchroom. I'm all excited. We're eating our lunch. Blah, 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 blah. I look at my best friend, Steve. I go, Bo, today's the day, buddy. Godfather Day. He goes, I know, dude. I'm so excited. And I'm looking around. I'm like, where's Pete? I went, oh, fuck. I went, no, he wouldn't. And I go, Boat. He goes, what? And I go, Pete said something to me. He goes, what? And I go, he said something about playing a prank on the sub. He goes, he wouldn't. And I go, fuck, I think he might have. He goes, dude, you can't be complicit. You got to keep in mind, my best friend was so overly paranoid and anxious. He would have not only blown up Pete's spot, but my spot too, if I would have known about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't say anything. Don't say anything. I'm like, maybe he didn't. So I'm like, we'll just find out. Right. So we walk into the room. Steve's freaking out. He's like, what if you did? What if you did? What if you did? What if you did? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Right? I'm like trying to tell him, shut the fuck up. So we're sitting in class. Steve and I sit in the very back of the room because we're cool like that. So we're sitting in the back of the room and Pete sits like right to the right of us, like right near the door. He's sitting there and you could tell he's really excited about something. I'm like,
oh no.
Like, he did it. So the sub comes in. I think her name was like Miss Williams or something like that. I don't remember what her name was. She barely got out. Hi, I'm your sub today. And Harry left you with a special treat today. He left you with The Godfather. This is amazing. I've never, ever in my life had a teacher who left a class with such an amazing movie. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here's The Godfather. And she pulls down the screen and it is plastered with cutouts of body parts. It looked like a serial killer had put up just nothing but breasts and vaginas all over the goddamn screen. And everybody in the room was like, and the sub turns around and goes, what? And looks and goes, ah! And she screams and runs out of the room. Right?
Oh, no.
We're like, oh, fuck. I go, Pete, you didn't. He goes, was it funny? That's all he could say. And we're all sitting there in silence. I mean, it was like a fart in church.
Yeah.
Just dead silence. And all of a sudden, boom, through the room, just an explosion. Door hits the wall, and the wall was made out of cement. It was like a bunker. Here comes the principal. You with me. Points right at Pete. And looks and he looks right over at me and Steve like we had something to do with it. I shook my head like I got nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And I'm like, what in the actual? And the sub is in the hallway. You can hear her sobbing.
Oh,
it's
my
like,
goodness.
oh, Jesus. I say that to read this story.
Okay, I can't wait to hear the story.
A high school student shown inappropriate images in a teacher's slideshow presentation.
Oops.
We have a repeat offender, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody found out what happened in Blaine High School in 1988.
Maybe this isn't a former classmate.
Maybe this is Pete's kid is what I'm thinking. I mean, honest to God, I read the story and I went, oh, are you kidding me? What degenerate? Right?
Pete's offspring.
Pete's offspring, exactly.
Pete Jr.
Pete Jr., I think pretty much. So Pete Jr., all right, here it is. Students at a Washington high school were exposed to nude images during a slideshow during class, the school's president said in a letter to parents. Students at Glacier Park High School in Snohomish, Washington, were exposed to images of nude breasts during a teacher's presentation. School principal Alicia Mitchell wrote to parents in a letter obtained by Fox News Digital. Families, we want to make you aware of an incident in a classroom where inappropriate images were inadvertently shared with the students. It is our understanding that these images have since been viewed by many others beyond the classroom and want to give you an opportunity to process with your student if you choose to do so. Yes, reshare it with them by all means. While the Sonoma School District is investigating, according to Seattle Red's Jason Rantz, Mitchell's letter to parents offered no details about the teacher. Specifically, the content included images of nude breasts and were briefly visible during a teacher's PowerPoint presentation. This does not reflect our expectations of classroom materials, and we take this matter very seriously. School administrators have already started taking steps to address this and are actively reviewing to assess the situation and appropriately address it moving forward. Rants viewed the slide that allegedly showed the nude breasts, saying it contained 4 photos of the breasts in small boxes as if they're previews of photos from a folder. So it might have been from the teacher itself.
Yeah.
And it
I think it was an accident.
Yeah, and it accidentally got into the PowerPoint.
Oh, no.
Whoops.
That would be so embarrassing.
Mitchell's letter continued, as this is a personnel matter currently under investigation. We're unable to provide additional details or comment further. We take this matter seriously and are following established processes to review the situation and determine next steps. Now, while the school has yet to put out a public statement, members of the public express their concern for a lack of action taken so far. So I'm sure that teacher has been fired or at least suspended, right? Another user named Julie Skinner asked. Well, guess what? No. And it is just a pair of boobies. So,
I mean,
yeah,
we all got them.
It was no Pete Smith action, that's for sure.
Pete wins the award for the most traumatizing and hilarious.
That's right. That's right. It was no Pete deal, so you didn't get that. All right. With that, that wraps it up for today for Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. Jess, what you got going on with you?
Oh gosh, Tim, I'm just working on some books and no events coming up right now, but I'm working on some things to share with people. So,
all right. Let's see here. Tomorrow, Supernatural News, and then Thursday, we are going to step into one of the scariest asylums we've heard of yet.
ooh,
That's all I can tease it yet today. We'll leave it at that. All right. But that'll do it for today. A couple of reminders for you. The Darkness Radio Apple app is updated and waiting for you. Go get it. 2, support the show. Go to darknessradioshow.com. Get your True Crime Tuesday swag and your Darkness Radio swag and support the show, please. And of course, 3, like I reminded you earlier, Potographs for Pooches, June 5th and 6th at the Palmer House. Come out and see us and ghost hunt with us and support the animals of the Tri-County Animal Shelter in St. Cloud. We'll see you tomorrow for Supernatural News. For Jessica Freeberg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for continuing to watch and listen to the best in True Crime Tuesday, or best in paranormal podcasting. There we go. This is True Crime Tuesday.